Welcome, everybody. Another episode of Brew Crew, or as we like to call it, Art Review. Or maybe we like to call it Brew Crew. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I am so behind on this stuff. And let's give a warm round of applause to our new editor, or a new editor. Someone new is giving a stab at this. And so, let's see. So let's just get started, shall we? Jumping right into it. And I tried to make my screen a little bigger so we could see it better. But that's a little too big. Part of the personal project. This is posted by Nahar G. Nahar G. Very interesting. I like that one point perspective going on. Okay, do you want me to criticize? You want me to be critical? Should I critique? Is that what you guys want? I don't know. Okay, I can be really picky here. This one point perspective goes back here. And you got this nice little convenient building covering it up so that you don't have to figure out any of this detail. But it still feels like this building here is going down below the surface. Does that make sense? Can you see that? Because of just how you drew the street, and then these perspective points go beyond it, so that the horizon's really up here. So you should have this keep going. Can you see that? I'm drawing with a mouse, so this should keep going. Anyway, super critical. Man, I'm no fun, right? It's like having your, you give your parents a nice piece of artwork and they just go, yeah. I try not to do that to my kids. Okay. And for the record, my parents did not do that to me, so I was very well taken care of. This is great, though. What else can I say? I like how these characters here are different colors than the background. It really helps pop them apart. And then these characters here, it's almost like you have like different team colors, and then the audience like that don't really matter. The NPCs that don't really matter. And I don't know. I think it's pretty smart color moves you got going on. So keep going, man. Good stuff. Let's see. Approve. Here's another one. Would like some help in drawing in the angle of the shadows on the face. Ooh. Finny Q. There's more. There's no more cookies. This took a long time to make, way longer than I should have, but I'm going to draw 52 faces to try to get better at drawing the shoulders and face at different angles. I would like some advice on the way I draw faces. Does it look good or bad? I don't think there's anything wrong with either one of the background colors. The top one kind of fits the scene more because it's in the same colors, but the bottom one makes the character pop out more. So it just really depends on what you want the character to happen with the character. I'm almost favoring the top one because of the lighting. So that's my thought. But then again, you posted this 2 months ago, and so you're probably way past this now. I love the lighting going across the face. I don't think there's anything wrong with the angle of these shoulders. It's a pointy chin, but that's part of the character design, I assume. I'm almost wondering if this eye back here needs to be up just a touch, just a little higher, based on the angle of the face. It feels a little low, possibly, but it still works. I think I would have drawn it a little higher, but I draw faces really bad. So, I mean, if you look at the proportions of my faces, they go all over the place. So I think this little highlight is a little distracting. Since you got this kind of cool shadow that's kind of coming down here like this, I'm almost thinking you'd want to do the same thing with the face. But I like what you're doing with this. So it's almost like it's two different shadows. So if you have this shadow, highlight, it's almost like a blinds that are casting light. Would you almost put another one there? And then this here would be more shadow, maybe, right? Because the head's casting the shadow. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, is kind of what I'm saying. I think you're doing a great job. I like the lighting. You don't need everything to be accurate and perfect. It's kind of like that's the fun with art, stylizing this stuff. Nothing I see when I saw this would stick out as ooh. So I think you're on the right track. Just keep going. Instagram. Oh no, am I gonna have to dig through it in Instagram? Hi Jason, do you think my art on Instagram is too inconsistent, or is it okay like that? And of course, I'm open for any advice about my drawing. Thank you. Really good art. Good good design. Okay, so here I'll say my thoughts now. I don't think there's anything wrong with the inconsistency. I think you're just experimenting with different styles. I think you have a really strong sense of design and color. Experimenting with different design styles and stuff is great. So keep at it. There you go. Just for everybody who is considering checking it out, there's a lot of nudity in it. So, but who cares, right? I just don't put it on my channel. That's all. See right here? Wait. See? Bam. Can you see that? No nudity. I'm like the mad dad. Let's see. Approved. Progress on Dragonfire, the puppet show. Oh, yay! So Jen was editing some of these Brew Crew videos, and she's doing some puppeteering, and it's really cool to see puppet, the production and creation of a puppet show. That is cool. Very interesting and unique stuff. Delicious. Okay, now let's see this. What a crazy job. Which one's you, Jen? Well, I can see you. I can see your little what is it called? Your avatar? So I guess you're not in the picture there. That's cool. All right. Thanks for showing, Jen. I can't wait to see how that thing turns out. If you guys are interested in following her work, check out her YouTube channel. All right. Transformers Bumblebee movie fan art. Look at that. Nice stuff. It's a lot of characters to jam in there. Good job, Bruce Krager. Good work, man. Did this Thanos Clip Studio paint. Let me approve it and then I'll look at it. Can't wait for Endgame to hit theaters. Oh, yes. You can tell this is old because we've already all seen it. You can find me on Instagram at SketchyWorksRay. Nice Thanos. Okay, let me give some critiquage. I know you have his hand foreshortened a little bit here, so it's kind of covering up everything else. But you might want to consider putting a little bit more arm in there, especially because he has big, thick arms. Like say that's his arm, and maybe, you know, big shoulder muscle coming at you more. Just so that it kind of you can see all those layers behind the arm. Right now it looks like the hand is so close. Let's see. You can see my arm's little, so the foreshortening makes sense to cover up everything. For someone like Thanos, you're going to have, you know, even if I just move it just a little bit, you can still see my shoulder and you can still see my forearm. You know, if you have it really foreshortened, then obviously it'll cover it up. It's just the right angle. But his hand isn't big enough to be that foreshortened. So that's my suggestion. I think you want to work on the anatomy too here of the knee, because you have it like a mirror image. If you split this down the middle, it looks exactly like the mirror image for the anatomy of this leg. But leg anatomy is lopsided. So, you know, you'll have this muscle will be bigger, and then it'll kind of be like that, and then the kneecaps are kind of, I don't remember exactly what is it, they're kind of tilted one direction, and this side would be bigger and it'd kind of go in like that. You know what I'm saying? It just looks like a mirror image. Study that anatomy and see the differences on both sides of the leg, and you'll start winning. Maybe pecs, you know, his pecs look kind of small, like his rib cage is almost bigger than his pecs, which kind of is problematic. So those are some suggestions with anatomy. Keep working that anatomy, get that structure down, and you will excel. Okay, this is by Avum de Lune. Hi everyone, this is a cover art of my comic thoughts, Halos and Horns. Through, oh my goodness, please editor, help me not sound so stupid. Through Halos and Horns, which can be read on my Instagram, Sleepless Drifter. It has 6 pages at the moment. All the pages can be read through the highlight. What do you think of it? I like the pose of this character. That's really cool. I like, as obscure and simple as it is, I like this guy. I'm not sure if I'm liking the red lines on this, but that's total stylistic choice. So, not everyone needs to draw stylistically what I want them to draw. It's very interesting. I like the details down here and the colors, how they complement each other. Looks neat. I would suggest working on the words a little bit. It looks kind of like an afterthought. If that's the cover and that's the actual logo and the title, then I would put a little more time into figuring out that, maybe give it something a little more unique and that fits the style, maybe. Those are my only thoughts. Good job. And you're doing that all through Instagram, huh? You're showing your comic through Instagram. That's interesting. Hi, says Lockwood102. Just joined today, and so naturally, this is my first post. A character of mine for my comic book, The Evil Queen and Her Handmaidens. I've been using Photoshop for over 2 years, and I discovered that I love color. Any critiques, advice is welcome, and I will be posting actual pages soon. Let's check it out a little bigger, shall we? Ooh, nice color. I like all the textures and stuff. I like the characters. Like this little guy down here. This little guy. It's cool. Good expressions. These is creepy, especially a lipstick, how it like splatters. These guys are creepy. What in the world? I think I like a lot of it. I'm wondering if you need to kind of, as far as coloring goes, since you're into coloring, let's talk about coloring. There's a lot of strengths, a lot of strong things in this. I think it could get stronger if you, like, say, selected the background just a hint more blue. Like, for instance, like you took this kind of blue color, maybe just a little bit more saturation, and put that all back through here instead of the rainbowy purple effect. Right now you have purple, but you have all the other colors that are kind of mixed in from the painting kind of in that area. You have yellows and purples and reds and blues and all that stuff. And so it's competing, and it's in the same saturation and tone level as your characters. And so if you kind of just, you can just select that background and just crush it kind of into 1 or 2 tones, 1 tone, and have it be ever so slightly different from the characters, then they will just pop like that. You'll have that same feel and everything, but things will just pop better, And you could even have these background characters on that same tone, that blue tone or whatever tone you have, if you want just mainly these characters to stand out. Wow, that's getting complicated, right? Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I think it's a really strong piece of art already. I really like the style, and I think you should keep going and keep coloring for sure, because I can tell you're into color, because it's really neat. Really neat color. Keep it up. Face tracking animation. Oh, yes, I remember this. This is another one of my editors, or Garrett, this guy here, who goes by Stimulus on YouTube, who has a YouTube channel, has edited some of these Brew Crew videos as well. Very good editor. He has a video on facial tracking.
The face that you're looking at right now is in fact animated automatically.
You guys need to check this out. If you're into animation and trying to cut some corners and using After Effects, pretty cool video. Thanks for sharing it. I know it was quite a while ago that he put it on here, but I saw it quite a while as well. A messy character sheet for the main character of a webcomic I'm currently writing and drawing. Critiques are welcome and appreciated. Let's make this as disgusting as possible. I already love the sketchiness of this. I love people's sketches when they're just kind of confident in their drawing, being sketchy. It's just so fun. Let's see, let's go look at the Instagram. Sorry, this page doesn't exist. Really? Well, sorry, I don't know what to say. I would like to see your Instagram page, but I don't know how to get to it. Really cool. I like it. I want to see more. That's the only problem, and I can't. Cannot. Denied. Okay, posted by would like Jason and Brew Crew's input. Hi, Jason. I recently was hired to do some coloring and lettering for a short 4-page story. I've done other work as a colorist. Took all of Michael K. Russell's classes at Udemy, but it was my first time doing letters, and client was very happy when he saw the colors and letters. But I'd like input on what I could do better to improve both the quality of coloring and lettering. I would say for coloring, it's a little bit too colorful for me, and this might just be my taste, but I would pick kind of themes, color themes. And I tell this to a lot of people, especially when they're asking for coloring advice. Like, pick like 3 main colors for your comic page, and then have everything be those 3 colors, in that range of those 3 colors. And then the page gels together, or at least everything within a scene, Like, for instance, you kind of have that here, you kind of have it here, you kind of have it here. But when you have all these together, each one of these has a kind of a slightly different color theme. This one kind of blends with this, but then this is separate, and then this feels different too. And there's a little pinks and stuff in here. But this page isn't the problem. It's more this page and this page where it just feels like you could have almost had like this panel colored by one person, these 2 panels colored by one person, and then these panels colored by one person. You know what I'm saying? It's almost how it feels. And usually when that kind of stuff happens in coloring, it starts feeling amateur. To me, anyway. So it's good to have kind of color themes for the page, almost like a color script for your pages. You're definitely closer to that in these pages up here. Like, this feels closer to like a tied together color palette. There's a little bit of stuff that feels like it's a little bit different. Like, this panel feels a lot more saturated, and there's more colors like the car and these oranges and pinks and yellows and stuff. And so it kind of stands out a little bit from this panel. And then these, I can kind of accept these because this glowing dude appears, and it kind of works. So this is probably an example of a stronger page out of these. It's just there's a couple parts where it feels like the colors are still a little bit not tied together. And then especially this page is kind of the same way. It feels like it kind of ties together, but then there's some parts that just feel like they might not belong, like this top panel just. So, this page and this page are the weakest link, though, to me, because they just kind of they're all over the place with color. So those are my thoughts. Like, even things as simple as like the color of this here wood, and then the color of this wood, like the color of the TV glow here versus the color of this TV glow. It just looks like it's colored by a different person from panel to panel. Lettering, don't ask me, dude. No, I guess I have my own font, so I guess I know something about lettering. At least I can pretend I know something about lettering. I'd say with the lettering, this is a little tight on the words. The words it's almost too tight around the words. And I don't like these word balloons that are just ovals, because they don't seem to snug the letters correctly. They kind of get too close to the letters on the corners. So if you can have kind of an oval that's more, instead of like this oval that you got here, if it could be more of a kind of a more rectangular oval, if that makes sense. That way the words fit in here nicely and they're not getting cut off. Jason's. I'm so into myself. I looked at all this and I read Jason's. What? Graphic novel, Johnny's Law character design. I had an idea for a movie script in 96, 97. Nothing ever came from it, and I decided to go back into comics 22 years late, after 22 years, and this was just a perfect idea. I'm not drawing this, but I wrote it. It's about the world's best assassin who is manipulated into killing a kid, but instead protects him in a deadly Texas town. The artist is this guy. Cool. I like all of this. But his face looks kind of warped. That's my only problem with it, is the face. Even I like all of this is working really well. The way he's holding on to the guns, everything looks great. But warped faces aren't bad. I have warped faces in my comics too. You go with those warped faces. Sorry. No, it strikes me as a little skewed. Maybe this would be a good example of a picture to flip your canvas horizontally, and you'll see you'll see how I see it. It's actually pretty good. Everything else is pretty good. I really like the style. So congratulations on finding a good artist to work on your stuff. Let's check out his stuff if we can. So these must be more pages from it, huh? Really nice. See, these heads aren't warped at all. I love how he draws guns and hands, blacks. Man, you scored with that artist. Good stuff. If I could scroll, then we'd be in a better situation. Neat stuff, man. I like the art style. Awesome. All right. Well, approved. Thanks for sharing. My Cyberpunk Occult series. Ooh, sounds very evil. Cover. Modification. Woo, that hurts my eyes. Why does that hurt my eyes? My eyes are weird though, so don't judge it on my eyes being hurt, because my eyes get hurt by everything. Look at that. That's cool. I like the little, what's it, the dot, the pixelation? What's that called? Halftone? That's cool. Oh, here we go. I like this website design. It's really clean. I like how it has the pages up here. It's a really slick website. I like it. The Hot Swap District, where people come for replacement parts instead of more appreciated medical centers. I mean, more approved medical centers. Younger organs. A different set of genitals. NANI? Okay. See, already it's getting into territory where it's not going to be approved for Brew Crew. You guys, you're going to get me demonetized. This is really cool artwork, though. I like the artwork. So I won't read it anymore because I don't want to have to read the word genitals anymore. Let's just click through a couple pages. It kind of has is it like a Alita Battle Angel type feel? Like the manga? Look at that. Oh, interesting. Anyway, very cool. I think it looks very good. It looks professional. Very cool. Anyway, you guys go support this guy. If you like that kind of stuff, check it out. Thanks for showing it to me, Jacob. This is Jen from my graphic novel, Hook in Mouth. Okay, I remember this from last time. You know, I think the pencils were stronger than the inks. The face doesn't quite have that same wind blowing in face look. It looks more, you know, I think it's just a matter of practicing inking. This is the same problem I had when I was trying to break into comics. Was I'd do good pencils, or my pencils were better, and then when I'd ink it, I was accused of ruining my pencils. The same case we have going on here. Sorry to be mean, but I think the pencils were a lot stronger, Arno. I would try to do some imitation of some inks that you really like, because that's a whole nother art form. Like, you know, drawing the structure and anatomy and stuff, that's one kind of art. But inking it and making those ink lines look satisfying is a whole nother thing. So I'd pull out some artists that you really admire their inking and really try to just imitate their line work. And I think that would really help. If you can get those lines to look right, then it'll take your finished drawing a long way. So that would be my suggestion. But thanks for sharing it. Give it a thumbs up, approve. Which side of the brain again? Hey Jason, been following you on YouTube for a while. Oh cool, so we got a time-lapse drawing. That's cool. Time-lapse drawings are always so neat. That's cool, man. Yeah, keep it up. Keep putting it out. back with some more. I love this. What do you guys think? Do you love this too? This is so interesting and unique and neat. Look at that. I like how it goes from these lines to like these straight lines. It almost gives it this unnatural feeling, like there's weight to it and it's hanging, but it's hanging like in the Tron world where it's just like straight lines. It looks odd. It's so satisfying though. And the tubes. So neat. I can't wait to see what you do with the script and what you do with the story, because I have no idea what it's about, but it's very interesting looking, and it will definitely keep me interested to keep reading it with this kind of artwork. Thanks for continuing to show us. Steve Carnegie. Here's my first coloring attempt on my graphic novel, Cure for Utopia. Hey Jason and Brew Crew, it's me again, Steve. Just want to show my first attempt at coloring a character, Curse from my graphic novel, Cure for Utopia. I kind of like where this is going, but if you have any suggestions, I would helpfully take it. My first book will be colored by someone else, but I want to learn how to do it myself. You can find me at right here, and I'm going to be on IG there. There's some interesting things going on here. Too big. This is interesting. I like how this red is like splattered over. This cut right here almost makes it look like a mistake, but I'm down. I think it's good. There's some weird little funky things up here, like where it's white, you know? But yeah, I think the color theory is really neat on it. I like it. Good job for your first, what did you say? It's your first attempt at coloring your character? Okay, so you've colored things before, so it's not your first attempt at coloring ever. Great though. Let's go check out I'm sure have we looked at this already? Well, what's going on? I don't know what I'm supposed to do on this website. Oh, it's loading. It's still loading. Oh yeah, I remember now. Join our mailing list. Yeah, okay, I remember. Oh, there you are. Very cool. Really neat style. I like the 2D digitalness of it all. Cool, man. Yeah, I don't have any problems with it. I think this flat coloring style works great with the amount of dense, rich details you have in your 3D, 2D style stuff with those little microscopic lines. So I think that's probably a good call to do the Frank Miller Hellboy style coloring, where it's just really simple colors, but just well chosen colors. So I like it. I really like it. Another character design, Professor Tosspot and Paul of Boxes Productions. That's cool. Like that face. Good job. Good work. Nothing. I don't have anything to add. Look at that. It's all zoomed in. I like this. New comic announcement. Official. Curse of those bones. A soldier in a secret society fighting against the cult gets more than he bargained for when he sets out to destroy the evil entity responsible for his own lifelong curse. You guys, sign up for the mailing list here, because Nick is doing a great job on this. I totally love his font, by the way. I love your font, Nick. And the coloring is great. I really like that. The design is really interesting on it too. I'm going to be really curious to see how this comic comes out. So everyone should go and sign up for his mailing list right here. Bling! Cover I did for my graphic novel, Phil Guzu, Bodacious Jane. It's Bodacious Jane. I like that pose. I like how the background's all kind of like pushed into that color palette, and then the characters are all vibrant, rich with different colors. Good choice. I like her expression, and if she has this blowing expression, you might want to have this smoke blowing out, like actually it's curling, and like she's actually blowing it. It looks like she's blowing it, but the smoke doesn't look like it's being blown. Okay? Nice though. Nice work. Oh, I should have done this. Very nice work. First ever Reddit post. I'm currently an animation student. Sometimes I feel discouraged by other younger people who are better than me, currently 19. How did you overcome this? Also, I'm looking to make a comic for Webtoon. How long did it take for you to plan yours? Or did you let characters and story grow by itself? I also admire people who focus on their art and storytelling elements. How do you find inspiration for that? A lot of questions. My comic that was on Webtoons, I wrote it 15 years prior to it getting on Webtoons. I let it sit for like 10 years. I did another graphic novel, and then I finally approached it. I just started self-publishing, and Webtoons approached me. So it's kind of a unique story, but I don't think you should beat yourself up if you're only 19. Don't worry if there's kids younger than you. As long as you love it and are excited about it and dive into like being the best artist you can be, your style is going to really be unique. And that's what it is about being an artist, is every artist has a different approach to things. So yeah, there's always going to be better people than you. There's way better people than me at everything. But no one's going to put together every piece of the puzzle like I do. You know, and that's what makes art fun, is because it's all these unique artists with unique takes and unique experiences and unique things. So let's check out your Instagram. 19. Look at that. This is great for a 19-year-old. Really cool character designs. I would keep cranking this stuff out. I think you're doing great. Good job, Drowsy. Thanks for posting, man. Keep doing it, you know? That's all I can say. The key to this is just continuing to do it, and for a long period of time, longevity. The longer you do it, the better you get at things, and things will become more and more natural to you. But you're already doing great. Could you share your thoughts on a comic I'm working on? I have 2 chapters done. Should I keep creating this? From Planet Dropout. Planet Dropout, is that why you're saying, should I keep creating this? You're thinking of dropping out of your comic? You don't want to get stuck in the mindset of like always quitting things. So if that's your username, and that's the first question you're posing, is if you should quit, based on those 2 elements, it's concerning. I want you to finish something, because finishing things is what's going to really make you shine, right? But let's see this. Whoa, this is like a trip. 99 rounds. Chapter 1. Born against. My creation will live. My creation will breathe. Oh, my creation will destroy. Let's start. Only one way to burn a soul to ash. A nuclear cocoon. Ha 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 ha. Who are you? Wait, what's going on? I'm your god. You will obey me. Huh? What's in that syringe? Boom, baby, boom. Now we wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. These drawings are so crazy. And wait and wait. Shh. It's about to. Wait for it. Bang. Boom. Oh, that's awesome. I like that, the legs going down. Bang. Those are cool, man. And then he's like smoking a joint. Bang. Bow to me. He just blows him away. I like that. I like that intro. Very weird stuff. Chapter 2. I should probably tell someone. Smiley face. I like your screwing around with wording. It's pretty neat. The words and how artistic everything's jammed together. It's like an acid trip all just baked into a comic. You know what? It's really experimental. It's really interesting and violent. This is cool, man. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't like what you're doing and you don't want to keep going, and it's all hinged on if other people like it, then I think you have a problem, and you might, maybe you shouldn't do it if it's not something that you really believe in and you really want to do, right? And if it's always going to be based on what other people think about it, then maybe you shouldn't do it. But I want you to do something that you are so in love with that it doesn't matter what other people think, you just are obsessed over it and you want to finish it, okay? This is really creative what you're doing, and I'll give you props for that though. But that's a decision you'll have to make, but you have huge creative potential here. So I'm impressed, man. If you guys like his comic, go check it out. Go subscribe to it on Webtoons. I think you're doing something really unique and interesting though. So there you go. Hulk and Deadpool fighting over some chimichanga. You can find more on IG, sketchyworks_Ray. Hey Hulk chimichanga, now Deadpool. It's Deadpool. It's cool, man. And that's good. I think the only thing I'd say is this arm here kind of feels a little like squished in there. You might want to try to, if his shoulder comes out here, it'd probably come down, maybe have it squished down there and then a little bit more like how you have it. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. Maybe this arm could be grabbing onto him, but I'm not suggesting redo it, okay? I'm just saying, if I want to be picky, that's what I'd be picky about. I think this is really cool. Nice muscles. Comic characters from the animated Bumblebee. Okay, I'm really not sure how this thing works. This is my first time read it. Anyway, I'm designing some characters for an upcoming comic about pirates. Oh yes, I remember this. I'm sorry, I'm not going to read through it all. I remember talking to you. You were on my Q&A live stream. Thanks for being a patron, by the way. So this guy's creating these pirate characters. We talked about having them all different, and he definitely made them all very unique, different looking. Just check them all out. They're like so easy to define which one is which. They're all so different. That's great. Look at that pig leg. That's like the most amazing pig leg ever. I think you're doing great, man. Thanks for showing it on Brew Crew, and thanks for showing it to me in my live stream as well. Here, my art on Instagram. Hope you can comment. Let's see if we can comment. Okay, guys, if you like this, everyone run over here and join the party. Some nice artwork. Nice watercolory looking stuff. I like these colors. Nice drawing, nice face. Oh, that's cute. Little turtle and kitty. I think you have a great style. Yeah, just keep doing it. Really nice color sense, color theory, really nice drawing style. I'm impressed. Color pencil piece. You colored this? Wait, so this is these are drawings and then you colored them, huh? Looks great. Approved. Good job. Little Strike Witch by Left TV. A little mashup piece I did. Akko from the anime Little Witch Academia, drawn as if she were the anime Strike Witches. I thought it would be a fun idea. I don't know either one of those, so I wish I did. Look at that. Her legs are these plane engines, and then she has this crossbow. That's cool. Really nice. Nice line work. Really clean, nice line work. Find more of my stuff on these places. Twitter, no, Instagram. Very cool. Thanks for posting. I'm not really giving a lot of critiques today. It's because you guys are already rocking it. Septicus. This is the first page, or one of the pages. I remember the cover. I can't read it. Oh, there we go. There, up yonder, that which will bring about great and terrible calamities. It's cool. It looks like an old book. Old book with an old style. But yeah, lots of detail. It's really neat. I like it. I want to see more. More Septicus. Hi, Jason and crew. Here's a cover on wraparound in my first graphic novel. Hopefully, kickstarting this spring. Any thoughts on cover design and designing for print? Imaginarium. Let's see. Middle of it is. I think it looks beautiful. I like the color theory, the rich greens that are really saturated mixed with her blues and that are a little bit more muted. Works really well. And the yellows mix kind of match with her skin tones a little bit. Yeah, I think it's great. And the line works really well. Nice textures. I don't have any critiques, man. I think you did a great job. It's a really nice looking cover. Approved! The Brood, page 20 inks. Brew Crew seems to be a good way to keep me accountable for focusing on producing something to post. Any feedback would be great. Thanks. That's great. You know, I remember us discussing like your inks versus your pencils. And then once you showed your color work, it really just made everything pop. So I think you're doing really great. I think I would continue inking and just being aware of how you separate the details in the color phase. Yeah, but I like it. I like what you're doing, man. I like it. Approved. Again. One more. Hello. I am Mia. Insta and a little about myself. Yeah, I've been lurking here for a while, but finally decided to share my work. This is Mia Pet. Neat style, man. Really cool. Look at all those hands. The 3 million hand challenge. Really great form. Look at that form. That's just like, it just feels real. I mean, it feels like solid, you know? That's hard. It's hard to do. You're an amazing artist. Great expressions. Man, this is some good stuff. Really good stuff. Is this you? Is that you right there? Bing, hello. Beautiful stuff. I love it. I want to see the comic you said you ink. Merely Players. So this is the comic you've been inking. I see. Inks. Nice inks. Really smooth, clean stuff. Really nice. Well, thanks for showing this stuff, Mia. Approved. You guys, please go follow Mia on her Instagram. And please post your comic. I can't wait to see what you do with your own comic. So make some of your own stuff. Post it here. Look at that. That's some good coloring. This is by J. Bear Warden. Really nice work. Danvers, I need you to leave now for both our sakes. Some really nice coloring. Let's go check out your Instagram. I think if anything, I'd say a lot. Some of your poses are a little stiff. Try to study postures and gesture drawings and like get some life and movement into those poses so they're not quite as stiff and rigid. That will help a lot. Your coloring is definitely stronger of the two between your drawings and your coloring. This is really cool though. All right, well, thanks you guys for posting. Thanks for joining the Brew Crew, everybody. You too can be a part of the Brew Crew if you join Reddit. And please hit that subscribe button too, if you don't mind. Subscribe. Yeah, I keep making these videos for you guys. I want to see new drawings. I don't want anything old, guys. Mario looks pretty angry. Look at those fingers. Those are like Dr. Seuss fingers. And man, that girl looks very mean. New stuff. If you still remember those bad beep villains, your childhood was awesome. That's cool. I like the style of this. I like the style of the characters and that interesting texture on them is kind of interesting. And it looks like you did it on like pencil and then you went over it digitally almost. And I think he works over the background. And I think he works over the background where he's at too. This is really cool. Cool style. Thanks for showing it. I have a friend who is running the Marvel's tabletop RPG, so I said I would do some intro pages establishing the characters. First of 3. I was expecting a gang, but not the Black Cat. Come any closer, Ghost Spider, and it won't be your only surprise tonight. Ooh, poor kitty, did no one change her litter box? Cool. And the way you've rendered this looks like you just did it with a picture and then you did a Photoshop filter over it. You know, it doesn't feel hand-drawn. It feels like it's computer-drawn. So, and that's fine. But, you know, it's just different. It just feels totally different than this. Like these bricks feel totally different than the way this is rendered. Okay, so you kind of gridded it up a little bit more to kind of mask the fact that it's kind of a processed photo element, maybe. I think that helps, but I like it. I mean, I'm not saying to change it, so just be aware of it, I guess. Good job. Keep it up, man. Something I did at some point last year. Still finding my style as I prepare to start my first creator-owned book. I like the wash technique. I like this character in the background. I like the washy, paint, splattery stuff. I think these characters are a little stiff as far as their pose. They feel like they're posing and standing more than in action, you know? But I like them. I just think maybe a study of posture and posing and doing a lot of quick sketches of poses would really help. Because right now that's the thing that's holding it up. That's the weakest link, is the stiffness of the poses. So there you go. But I do like the style you're going for. I made this Reddit account to share my comic with you guys. Well, thank you. I won't let you get away, monster. I really wanted to share my panel for my comic project I've been working on and enjoyed reading Sithra, so I was very happy when I found out Jason had made the subreddit. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you're happy. Yay. If anyone wants to check out the full-length comic, you can read it here. It does contain some blood and foul language, so I'm giving you younger people a heads up. However, mainly wanted to show this panel. It's quite happy with how it turned out. I like it. It has kind of like that old Ninja Turtles style. I like it. I approve. Thanks for your last art review. Thought I'd share my newest figure drawing sketch. Also, I have a DeviantArt. All right. Let's all go there right now. And Twitter, don't go to Twitter. Just joking. I just despise Twitter. That's cool. I really like the... Now those shoes are working. It's good. Is this from your head? Is it from a picture? You know, where's this from? I think the head this could almost be in a little closer. It just feels like her forehead's bulging out a little bit. But I like the hair. I like the pose. Really cool hands. I like it. Ooh, that looks good. Wow, first glance, that's really nice. A wolf sketch I made some time ago. I love sketching and painting in grayscale or with limited colors. For anyone interested, check out my Instagram. I will. I like that. The darks and then the lights being blown out, and then just a subtle difference from the background color back here so this pops out. It's so subtle but so well done. Yes, you do like those grayscale gray tones. This one that you showed us is definitely, I think, your strongest one that I've seen so far. This one here is also really cool. Cool, man. Keep doing this. Keep practicing this style. It's crazy digging into people's old Instagrams to see where they came from. Look at this. From this to this. Such a big dramatic improvement. Anyway, thanks for showing me your Instagram. Hello, Mr. Brubaker. Thank you for creating the Brew Crew. Here's a comic cover I did which we have started and inspired by watching your videos. Oh, very cool. Gul. Ghoul. contrast in the colors here, the background color and the foreground color person. Ooh, this red is nice. The background color is nicely separated and the border fits well. And the greens kind of match him. That's cool. I like the expressions. Doing a good job. Let's see what it looks like on Webtoon. Is it full color? I like your colors. Oh man, you guys are doing great. Yeah. Yeah. Da-dum. Goo. Ooh, sorry, gotta settle in. Glare. Hunto, line up. Honto means hunters in training. Did I say it right? Check out my farting boar. Ha ha ha. These are awesome drawings. Keep going, man. I really like this. Hopefully it's very successful for you guys. Hey, Jason, I've been watching videos and I've been very inspired. I'm really inspired and encouraged by to work harder and to keep pursuing my dreams. So much love and much thanks. And here's your Instagram. Ooh. That's creepy and cool. What a weird looking face. I like the simplicity and the sketchiness of the foreground. The colors are really good. Good combination. It's cool. There's a little bit more contrast in these foreground elements than in this background, even though it's very contrasty. There's just a little bit more, and so it pulls these guys all forward. That's neat. I like it. Let's look at your Instagram. Neat sketches. Whoa. That is cool. That is really cool. I like your lighting sense. Nice vehicles too. Well-rounded stuff. Very cool style. Look at those shoes. That's crazy. Good stuff. I'm impressed, man. Just keep cranking out the stuff because you got the skills, man. Hey, Jason, thanks for doing Brubaker submissions. It's awesome. Here's a Grayscale portrait I made. I'm pretty new at digital painting and painting in general. I'm open to comments and critiques. I also have an Instagram page here as well. Very nice. It always is hard for me to look at digital paintings when the brushes are blurry kind of brushes. And so I zoom in and the eyes are blurry. But you're well, we're really zoomed in now. See, it just looks blurry and it hurts my eyes. But as far as your ability, it looks great. Good abilities. I just think I think it will be helpful if you get a harder edged brush. You can still have the gradients, but just the edge being harder so it doesn't look like it's blurry. I love your stuff, though. Really nice. Keep it up. Approved.
Welcome. This is Alex Lanier Art, and we're in the studio today. It's a little messy in here. It's a little messy, but it doesn't matter.
Dude, my studio is way messy.
Maybe it's just the nose. Maybe it's
cool videos, man. Thanks for sharing them. Yeah. Alex Lanier. Go check him out on YouTube if you guys want to see more. He's got a series of these. Look at that. Looks like a nice little card. So I finally finished Cithra. Jason, I've been following your work for, I guess, only a few years now, and I finally read through Cithra in 2 sittings. Just had to say that as a 28-year-old bloke with similar thoughts on life as yourself, Dino's character and Vanna's journey resonated a lot with my late teens. Man, what an accomplishment. Incredible work. Here's a thank you from myself. Presented by 2 of my own characters. Cheers, man. Thanks, Jonathan. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you liked it. That's a really nice piece of art. The little owl and the bear. Well, thank you. Thank you, Jonathan. That is cool, man. Let's check out your website. Really cool paintings. Thank you, Jonathan, though. Appreciate that. What up? It's been a while, right? It's been a while. I apologize, but let's get into it. Let's The Davy Rocket Almanac. I remember this. one of my earlier Brew Crew videos, I read the opening sequence to this. It's pretty good. If you ask me, I decided to make 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge again. Oh, no. I don't know why that gives me a neck ache, but it just does. Okay, 100 days is just a long time to not taking breaks. I've successfully completed it once before, and I'm looking forward to get back into it and making further progress on my comic. This time around, I'll post weekly progress videos. It's so cool. So you're going to post them on your YouTube channel right here. Let's check it out. Blink. All right. Notification bell. Okay, I've subscribed, so I'll check it out when I see it. Mindscape Stories cover. Charles Bonsai. Mindscape Stories cover. Hi, everyone. Here is a possible cover for graphic novel Mindscape Stories. This title could change, but it's the initial idea for the title. It might actually just be prints, so I don't know right now either way. I hope you enjoy it. Neat textures, neat depth. Yeah, I like the style. I'm not sure if this would grab my... I don't know if I would be able to see this clear enough, with a logo on there and font and stuff, because this face is kind of so far back, and then there's so much of it that's kind of like texture. It's an amazing page, though, if that makes sense. It's a really good page, but I don't know if it would pull my interest enough as a cover. If you make it a little more clear what's going on, who the characters are or something, because it's the back of a character, which is there's nothing wrong with the back of a character, and there's a lot of mystery to it, which is good. It's just I don't know if the mystery's clear enough. Keep going though, man. I want it to be dim lighting inside the tram, but I don't want a lot of line work. Should I leave it as is and use color for this effect? The light in front of the character will be bright. Thanks, Jason. Instagram. Oh, it's Arno. Sorry, Arno. It took me a month, 2 months to answer your question. I would do that in coloring, and I would just do like a glow light coming in, kind of coming out on both sides. Like this would all be glowy and kind of glowing out. That's what I'd do. I'd do it in color, in the coloring pass, because the inks and the composition strong as is. When you color it, use color dodge or lighten or something so that your glow actually seeps over top of this black, blows out the edges. Anyway, that's great. Good job, Arno. Space Girl Revisited after Brubaker's advice. Wait, is this the second time? I remember giving advice, but I thought I already saw this. I know I said to have green glows. You know what I would suggest now? I'd suggest putting some blacks in here. All your like there's a little bit of black here maybe, but like all these places that could have some more saturation within the details, meaning like darks and lights and detail saturation, they kind of get muddy because of the reds that are sprayed over top of it. And the reds just kind of muddy it up. I'm almost thinking you want to just kind of like pop this out with more contrast, like dark blacks and stuff, and maybe push these back, push a little dark black there, and here, under here. I don't know. It's kind of what I'm thinking, because otherwise it kind of starts getting muddy. If you want to come back at this anyway, I'm not for like redoing paintings over and over again. Maybe stay away from these reds and just push more into like, so hit it with spots of darks, like solid black, in maybe 5% of the painting is solid black, or 1%, just enough to where it doesn't feel like this foreground just feels kind of washed out, and then you have these rich saturated colors in the background, which are more vibrant, and they pull your eyes to that. Whereas I think you want to pull your eyes to the foreground. There's so much detail there, but the way that it's kind of blurred and all those contrasty lights and darks are kind of ironed out, it kind of makes it fade away. And so I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'd say get more contrast into the foreground, and then that will help it rest in that background space better. Commission I'm working on. Ooh, look at that. And this is by Mascot Comics. Is that right? Is that right? How you say it? Looks good. I like those fingers. Good job. Good commission. You're doing it digital and then they'll paint it, I guess. I can't believe someone made me get to go to Facebook. It's great. I would just say take these textures, make them less repeated texture, actually paint some splatters of paint yourself and then use that as the texture. That way it'll look a lot more professional. You can have this yellow glow seeping in here, but you almost want to brighten up this part that's actually outside the door a little bit more. I know if you brighten it up too much more, then it'll blend in with this horse though. So, but I think you do want to brighten up it just a little bit more than the glowiness here. Either that or knock down the glowiness here so it's not quite as, it's not the same color as right here. Make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Practice perspective and just found an oopsie. Hence practice. Aha, you're using like the mirror image tool, huh? That's pretty interesting, pretty cool. I just barely used that just a little bit ago. I think it looks good. Nothing strikes me as wrong when I see it as far as the perspective goes. Working on this thing I drew at 4 a.m. in the morning. I need some crits. Other Bird Man at 4 in the morning. It's awesome. I love the style. Love the skinny legs. No crits here, man. A robot smoking a cigarette. And he's drunk. Ones and zeros. Or I-O. Well, it looks like ones and zeros. No, it doesn't look like ones. That's cool. It's a neat painting. You know, my only suggestion, if you want to have a suggestion, take some of these colors and push them into him a little bit more so that he pops out. You know, you got it in the helmet, not in the helmet, in the actual robot, but there's so much of this warmth seeping into him that it really kind of it mashes them together. That's kind of my style though, so if you don't want to do that, I understand, but that's what I'd suggest. That way the shirt and the pants don't just turn into a kind of a brownish, which is the same color as this wall in the back. You know, or you can take this color here and actually push it into the concrete here. Maybe that's what you could do. Just push the concretes a little bit more blue. Have this concrete here. Have more of the blue sky in it. Reflecting, you know, it's like it's the blue sky is reflecting down off of this. And so it'd turn this blue. And then just bounce that up a little bit onto the wall. You know, grad it up. And then he would pop out a lot more. Those are my suggestions. Really neat painting though. So I thought this was kind of funny. A few of my recent pieces, at least the ones I can show that don't break the rules, ... This is by Joe Benson. The only problem is I can't see anything. So apparently Joe doesn't have anything that doesn't break my rules of no porn, nudity, or gore, or mean speech. Sorry, Joe. Unless he just tried to post something and didn't show up. I don't see it though. So I'll give you a thumbs. Should I give you a thumbs down? Welcome everybody to another exciting episode of Brew Crew. Let's see what you guys are up to. Second attempt at smooth lines. So those lines are nice. They kind of look a little. There's like it's like a duplicate and blur. Is that right? Like there's like a little blur on these lines. How interesting. I kind of like that, you know? I did that a little bit with the coloring of Remind on some parts, but I've never done it to the lines specifically like this. That's an interesting technique. I think it works good. You know, if you throw in some color and use that kind of technique, that's pretty sweet. I think it looks beautiful. I think it's a really good style, really clean, really well designed. I don't got anything bad to say about it. You're doing a great job. This was by the Other Birdman. Beginner here posted, by Smash Art 00. Beginner here trying to learn 3/4 view from memory in a style I like. Zuko from Avatar. You know what? If you can learn 3/4 like this from memory, then you're in a good spot. You'll have solved a lot of problems because it's really hard to get the 3/4 thing. People can get the front-ons and, you know, early on in their art career and in a profile. But like having like form and depth and the shapes working with 3/4, which it seems like you kind of, you kind of got it. It feels right. It feels like the head is turning. It feels like there's dimension. It feels like there's weight and mass to it. So I think it's pretty good. I don't follow that animation, so I don't know, but I almost feel like this needs to be a little bit more like that based on, you know, like if his head is going like this, if these are the crosshairs, you know, it would be, how do I do that? How do I show it? The back would be, this is hidden, right? And so this would be going like coming out of the back of the head about there. This is my only critique. Maybe a little bit on the neck. The neck feels like it's bulging out a little bit too much here. Now you're probably using reference, so it might not be as it might not be what you're seeing on the reference, but those are my suggestions. I think it's great that you're doing this, though. The nose. Okay. I said I don't have any more critiques, but I do have a couple.
Let's dive into this.
I feel like the nose might feel a little flattened. You might want to pull this line out a little bit more for that, for that shape, for that angle. This is my thoughts. But keep going. And, a good thing to do with this is also practice. I'm doing this with a mouse, so this is really hard to do with a mouse. Practice the head slowly turning. You know what I'm saying? On a sheet of paper. If you can do this, not with just my stick figure lines like this, but if you can get it to turn all the way to profile, this is really bad. Oh boy. And then let's pretend that's profile. He's looking completely sideways. If you can do all those steps and make it believable, a turn, then your brain will have learned so much. Another thing you can do is actually try to animate it. Open a program like Photoshop. It looks like you're just drawing it on paper, which is fine. So maybe get a notepad where you can flip the pages and they're glued together, at the edge, so you can flip it and it can line up on top of each other, and see if you can animate it turning. That is so good for your brain to be able to help retain this information. That's what I would suggest. I think it's great you're doing this, though, because that is going to really help your art. Package 17 says, how to draw energy, the last outlet, progress drawing 1. And let's see what you draw in this video. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. I like the detail of these drawings that you're doing. Like this stuff, crazy. Then you go over it again. Let's fast forward. Let's see some of the craziness. Crazy. I can't watch it because it's so jumping all over. Look at that detail, man. Good job. Keep that up. Oh, here's the color one. Nice. You guys like this stuff? Alex Lanier on YouTube. You can subscribe. He has 282 subscribers. Help him out. From Witches Never Sleep. Character design for a comic idea I have set in 1966. Inspired by psychedelic 60s art and fashion illustration. Psychedelic 60s art and fashion illustration. How interesting. What a combination. I got an itch. I got a scratch. This looks great. I like the line quality. I like the cleanness of it. The face looks really neat. What I'm really curious about is what we just talked about in one of the last posts, is that 3/4. If you can get some 3/4 options nailed, like versions nailed, like of her face turning, it looks like you've got the front figured out, but thing is, you can easily just trace this or shrink it down, But getting a different expression and some 3/4 angles would be really interesting to see how you pull that off. But I think this looks good. And I'm really curious how that's going to turn out. More blatant promotion. More like the idea of fashion illustration and 60s psychedelic art. I have no idea what to expect, so this will be weird. Another how to draw energy. Very cool, man. I'm not gonna watch this one because I'm just impressed that you're cranking out these videos. A D&D character I made. Ow. What is wrong with me? I just hurt myself by touching my face. A D&D character I made and thought about writing a story for a character, but meh, I have other projects to work on. RN. I like the shading. Got some nice shading going on. You can see the bones there. I like the drawing style too. Very cool. Nice hand. I guess there's like the nose is kind of like a Voldemort type nose. And I'm not quite sure. Are these teeth? I can't quite zoom in. Are these teeth here sticking out? Those are kind of difficult to see, mainly because it's just kind of all getting muddy in that area. But other than that, I think so. Successful sketch. I really like this little sketch here, the little character pose. And you know, if you want my honest opinion, let me just chime in here with my opinion. I say forget D&D, man. Do your thing. You're exactly right. Right here, this is the perfect statement. Meh. I have other projects to work on. Yes. Excellent. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could, you know, get ahead by doing some D&D fan art and get some followers and whatever, all that stuff. But it's never going to be your thing. So maybe learn from it, experiment with it. But meh, do your thing, man. So we got Kylo Ren. I really liked Kylo Ren in the new Star Wars. I really did. He was one of the good parts. I can see Kylo Ren in there. Wait, is it? But it's Darth Vader. Maybe it's not Kylo Ren. Maybe it's just like, oh, and he doesn't have this lightsaber. Okay, I'm confused now, but I like it. You can tell I'm not the biggest Star Wars fanatic. I loved, just like every kid my age, loved Star Wars when I was growing up. It influenced everything in my life, like storytelling wise. And I still like the unspecialized Star Wars number 1 and 2 and 3. What is it? No, despecialized. If you can find it, I know you can BitTorrent that. But people went through all this effort to take out all the special effects over the years that have been added to it. And you can download it as close to the original theater release as possible now, as it's called the despecialized edition. And it's by far the best because it's just straight up storytelling. It's but this is a good job shading. My only note would be there's a lot of shading that's in the same depth. So you have everything. If you squint, it's kind of, if you squint and look at this area, whoa, my mouse is really out of control. You look at this area, it's just all kind of a blur because they're all the same level of shading, and there's no like contrast in this shading. I mean, yeah, you have contrast, you have lights and then darks, but it's just consistent, right? Through the whole thing, it's consistently the same. So what I would do is I would select parts that you want to really darken up. Apologize all the beeping. Places where you really want to darken up. You could, you know, darken up under here, maybe darken the suit up. Maybe the cape is really dark. Maybe not the cape. Underneath here, you can have this really dark. Right? Let's continue that down here. Maybe down here, this could be almost solid black, you know. You don't have to define all that. You know, everything underneath this tattered cape can be all black. Some of these are black. This leg down here could be black. Underneath the arms here can be black. So we're talking like as black as you can get. That will help separate out like the arm details from this other detail. Right now you have a consistent amount of detail, so it's making everything just kind of flat. And I'm trying to help you get it to where things pop. Usually you want to have some really dark lines, kind of like you kind of have some darker lines over here. And then you want to have a lot of like light shading. Like here's some pretty good light shading, you know, not like light shading, but lighter than the darks. I'm never going to be a teacher. So you have a lot of lights. Like, see, here's some, let's just do some dots. These are like light areas that you're not shading with the same pressures you did over here. You know, it's a little darker shading. So work on that. Figure out some like, okay, so let's say 50% of your picture can be light shading. And then you have some dark lines to emphasize the arms, shapes, and structures. And then you have some places where you do medium dark shading and then really dark shading, like you're down here, okay? Really, really dark shading. Maybe underneath the arms, maybe a little bit under the neck. Thinking of it that way is really going to help pop things out so that it feels like there's depth. It doesn't feel flat. So those are my suggestions. I think it's a great job though, as far as just figuring out the detail and shading the detail, and you did a great job with it. Good job. It's hard to do, you know, reflective black plastic and metal. So you're doing great on all that. Oh, this is another one. Another sketch video. Dude, you're cranking this stuff out, Alex. Good job. Look at that. That's a nice cover. There's a lot of colors, but they seem to be working well together because they're grouped nicely. The only place I feel like is a little too colorful is down here at the bottom. The sky, it's like it pulls all your attention down here. And it's good. And this light flare is definitely amateur looking. And I don't mean to say that rude. I don't mean to be mean. It just looks like a big airbrush. If you could get a nice shape into there, you know, use the lasso tool or something to just get a nice hard shape to make that shine. It looks okay down here, the blurriness, but once you get up here, I think it needs to be a nice sharp, crisp line instead of this blurry rounded airbrush. The airbrush is working really well right here and right here. It's great. But this is just not good. Like having the shine on the wing here, great use of airbrush. Now all these different color source palettes are working really good. I think this mountain's nice and dark, so it doesn't pull your attention. It lets you focus in on these characters, and you see them in different like light sources, so you kind of can see them in different groupings, you know. And then this guy's cool. These characters all kind of stick together. And this guy down here. Yeah, it's really successful. I think there's a lot of good things about this. Let me go to your post because I didn't read it, by Chainsaw Chan 24. Bit of a cover for a comic I want to develop. My Instagram is Instagram Ramboy24. Critique is very much welcome. So I kind of critiqued it. Let's go check out your Instagram. I'm curious what some of your other stuff looks like. Why can I never get Instagram links to work? Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Maybe my editor will help me find what the Instagram is supposed to be and help me out. If not, this is a great picture. Really neat characters, cool expressions, cool lighting. I think your coloring is strong. There was just a couple of places that I think you want to think about a little bit. And another thing, just to be aware of, if this is a cover, remember that you're going to have it's going to be cropped. So you're going to risk cutting off, especially these cool little details on the corners. They're going to be risk getting cut into, and then like cutting off the nose and part of the face. Like you just want to expect things to be cropped. So I would add a 1/4 inch to the outside of this art if this is intended to be a cover one day. And anytime you're thinking about covers, and just expect that 1/4 inch to be cropped off, because it is, it usually is, sometimes more than a 1/4 inch. So it's that bleed space, they call it the bleed, where you give extra art that's intended to be cut off if it needs to be cut off. And printers always have like a 10% margin of error. So there's always going to be a 10%. And sometimes it's even worse. So those are my suggestions. Thanks for showing me. Just doodled a new character name and backstory pending from an African-inspired religion in my Inktober 2016-17 fantasy world. Same world as my previous post. This is a patron. Thank you. Nice. Approved. I like the shapes of everything. Everything has nice form to it. Yeah, good work. Keep going. My attempt at John Buscema, like brushwork. I don't really follow his style, so I don't really know how spot on it is or not. But I will say one thing again, tangent right here where the line is almost touching the branch. I'm just a tangent Nazi, okay?
I'm just a tangent Nazi, okay?
So there you go. Looks good though. I think John Buscema would be proud. Interesting. I think it's a little flat. You could do things like have the clouds bigger and the tree more in the foreground. And then, his hands here. And then he's like looking at it. You know what I'm saying? Even bigger maybe? I don't know. Anything to kind of push it so it's not all on one plane, then we'll give it more a dynamic, quick read. I mean, it's a quick read. It's really simple, and it's a quick read right now, so that's good. But it's just not very dynamic. It's not very, and then the background's really flat too, and so you have a lot of flat things just on top of each other. So that would be my suggestion. Comic page. Hi, this is my first page of an 8-page comic I did adapting lyrics from a song called Cold Lesson by Cruelist from Portugal. Check them out if you're into heavy stuff. Does it disappear when you think of it? That's actually easy to read your cursive, even though it's cursive. Usually that's always troublesome. I like the textures and the colors. The home you should belong to. He's running off. He's just running naked with a bag of clothes. I like it. I like the imagery. I like the colors palette. I like the color choice. Good job. Approved. Wanting to illustrate a kid's book soon. Critiques would be so helpful. Is it the Grinch? He had a potion and he dropped it. Is this blood? Or is this the potion? So many questions. I think it's good. I think my only thoughts would be maybe have a little shadow under this, because you have this dark shadow around the edges, the vignetting. So I think it would only make sense to kind of continue that shadowy theme under things, under the hands. Well, that's more like just a suggestion. It doesn't need it. I can't tell though if this is blood. The highlights on over the rocks make it look like it's almost like cloth wrapping over the rocks, and so that's why it's confusing. If it's blood, I think you would want to highlight it a little less. Be more subtle with the highlights. Just hit it like on the top edges. Make sure the color's right too, because right now it looks kind of purpley. It looks like this is redder than this. So those are some questions I have. But I think it's a great job, a great piece though. So you should be proud. Here, cool. Okay, this is vector art. That doesn't look like vector art. Do you just mean digital? Because it doesn't look vector, but it looks digital. Vector, because vector is like you have the points and a straight line between them, and so the edges are really clean. These edges are kind of blurry, like you used a paintbrush. So yes, good job with digital, but I don't know, but I'm confused about vector. Thanks for sharing. Woohoo! That's cool. Make some streaks here. Like you can block this all out and color it all white. Just lower the opacity. Just do that a little bit, and suddenly, boom! It looks like you're looking through a window. Otherwise, it's not clear if it's a window or not. So I like the textures. I like the gradients, the use of like the fogginess. I like the colors. It looks like you're doing it traditionally mixed with digitally, which is great. Neat character designs. Yeah, man. Keep going. I'm down. How many things do you see that are represented in it? I'm curious to see how many you can find. I see the all-seeing eye. I see the triangle. I see the floating pyramid on the dollar separated. Maybe, oh, there's the letter A. That's cool. A. And this could be a C, right? That's all I can see. I don't know. Good job. I like it, though. Illuminati confirmed. Miet. Is that it? Character sheet. How cute. Good job. Nice turning. The only one I don't see is the staring straight on. Is she ever going to be looking straight at us? Meeti? I don't know why. Why can't I pronounce words? I like these little sketches. That is really nice. Let me just circle my favorites. I love this one. Oop, I'm using white. I love this one. Cute. Lots of depth and personality, and this one's great too. Oh, there's one from the front. You know what? They're all good. Every single one of them is really nice. Again, you got the body figured out underneath the dress. That's good. She's going to be the lead character of my own comic. Simply Meaty.
Meaty. How do you pronounce it?
Why do I put myself in these positions where I have to pronounce words that I can't pronounce? Wow, lots of stuff. Ooh, some cool sketches. Very cool. Good work. I think these are really strong. These are by far my favorite things. I think this looks better even. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. Say I think this looks better than this because these are so clean, and the line precision of the line loses a lot of the energy of these up here, and the line weights are gone, and the energy's gone, and it just looks like vector art, which kind of feels lifeless. Vector art feels a lot more lifeless. So if there's something you can do to kind of capture this kind of stuff with the final, I think you will have more success. In webcomics, I'm wondering if there's any way or trick in adding volume without compromising my style. It seems like you got it. To me, you're doing it. You might just want to hit some bigger shadows. So like you have this purple down here on the legs, just knocking these legs all into shadow, except for this part, will show the volume of this because the shadow is casting onto these legs. Does that make sense? So that gives the volume. You kind of did it here with this leg. You might want to just hit this knee with a little bit of white. Almost knock this since you're... Okay, let me do that. Yeah. I mean, I'm just throwing out suggestions here. This works really nice, this neck shadow. You could play with it there. Maybe make that a little darker. I think this is all working. You got shadows there. You chose to light that. I think that all makes sense. You know, I really like this, how this is all in shadow. I think you're doing it. This is my biggest suggestion, is doing that with the legs. Good job, though. I think you're on the right path. It's really nice art, too. Could you critique my art on Instagram? Okay, I will a little bit, but what I want to suggest is, instead of just pointing me at your Instagram, post some pieces of art, and then I can critique one or two pieces of art, because I can't possibly go through and critique a whole Instagram, other than like, in general, it looks like you need to work on this, which maybe that's what you want. I think you're doing good. You're studying muscles and anatomy. It's great. Everything looks like TV animation type is what you're going for with the way the lines are. I think just keep working on your anatomy. It's one of the things you're working on and you're studying and you're trying to master it. Keep working on it because there's some that you can tell that the anatomy is a little off, like this girl. You know, this girl a little off. Down here. The twisting here. You know, I mean, but you're going after it right by practicing it and studying it and trying to do it. This looks a little funny. Anyway, you know, keep going though. You're on the right path. It just takes a lot of work, a lot of time investment. The Brood. Approved. It's already approved. I like that cover. If you want me to criticize it, I would say I like the logo. Even though it's gritty and complicated, kind of, it still is easy to read, so that's good. This here dark shape that you have up here gets lost because this background is so dark down here. Does that make sense? I think if you want to have that dark shape up there, that's fine. I would lighten this here background because then it will help the character pop out as well. And I would push it a different color. So to push it a different tone, you have a lot of greens and greens, which are great, and your colors palette is amazing on here. But I would just push this maybe more towards suggesting maybe blues in the sky so that all the greens above pop, right? And then maybe just a hint lighter so that he stands out and this black shape stands out. But I really like what you're doing. I think as is, it's awesome as is. But that's what I would do if it was in my hands. Layout, Jin racing against the time to the silo. That's good. I think that looks nice. I like the leg here. It really feels like the right perspective. I think if you have this, I think the arm works where you're going to position it, and everything feels like wind is being blown on him. Good stuff. Welcome to Brew Crew. Let's start diving in, shall we? We got some stuff here. Okay, I'm just going to go through these things that have not been seen yet. Comic character. Xerasaurus Rex. This looks great. This is the main character for my comic. Still trying to figure out Photoshop. At the moment, all I can do is put flat solid color on top of flat solid color. Aha! Well, that looks pretty good for just being able to put flat solid on top of flat solid. I don't know if you work with layers or not, or layer modes, but like do a YouTube search for multiply mode in Photoshop and overlay in Photoshop. And just, what do I gotta say? I think you're doing great though. The drawing looks really nice. The coloring is pretty nice, even though it's simple, but I think you're doing a great job. So just look up some good Photoshop coloring tutorials, and I think you will be well on your way. Approved. Printy Mash Design. What you gonna do, brother, when Valley and all the Valley maniacs come down on you, dude? What? I don't get it. It's an awesome little drawing. I like that. The perspective's great. The shadows are great. Really nice drawing. I don't know quite how to read this. If you want any critiques, I'm having trouble trying to figure out what order to read. I guess I read it in the right order, but these words are just kind of like so evenly spaced out that it makes it difficult. But the design is beautiful. The drawing style, beautiful. Strider Designs, beautiful. Here is an art vlog. Art vlog. Yeah. Sounds good. University of Miami. This is cool. Keep up the vlogging. I think that's the way to draw in traffic. Second go at this. Thanks, Jace, for critiquing the last post. I tried to focus on the same issues you pointed out in the last one. Wanted to keep it fresh and try another color palette, so I made it a night scene. All right, let's look at this. I remember the first one. I like the stars. Okay, so one thing I want to point out this time is the background sky and the clouds have about the same saturation. If you want to choose one to be more or less saturated, that would really help pop them out from each other. I would suggest making the sky more desaturated. This could probably be more grayed out, you know, the stars. And then as it goes down, you could hint at like yellows and reds kind of in the horizon, in the background behind the clouds, right? As it gets right to the bottom. This is a suggestion. You don't have to do that. But keeping that sky actually desaturated and then the clouds saturated like you have it, that will make them really pop out and feel like they're a little bit, you know, different from each other. You do have a nice grad on the sky, so that's good. You could probably do a nice grad on the clouds as they go down towards the horizon, which means they would probably be further away from you. I like the little glows that you got from the little fireflies. I think this grass is working a lot better coming at you. A lot better than the last one that you did, so good job on that. I think the pose is fine. This here little guy is great when you look at it up close, but I didn't see it at all when we were far away. It doesn't pop, so that's a kind of another problem. Same kind of thought process. The sky and all this stuff around is competing with the same levels and saturation and all that stuff of the character. Same with the grass, competing with the same saturation of the character. So you have it faded into a different hue, which is good, but I would almost lighten him up so that whatever color is in the clouds is kind of like giving him a glow on the top part of his body or something to kind of lighten him up, pop him off that background. And if you can pop him off and then pop off the bird off that background as well, your eyes would read it a lot clearer. Right now, you know, when you squint, you see the eyeballs here and you see kind of like these dots here. But it's really hard to see. Like, practice squinting at your work, back up and squint, or look at it from a distance and squint. And if you can't make out the stuff, can't make out the shapes or the characters or the things you need to be looking at and recognizing, it usually means there's a problem with it. And then start playing with tools to separate things, to make things pop out and be noticeable when you squint. Does that make sense? I do like this a lot better. Oops, the color palette a lot better though. I think it's fun. Sky is a lot better, grass is better. I think the poses are better. So keep going. It's looking good. Nova just made this kid's day. What? Very cool. A cold piece. Messed up the kid's expression. We all gotta look at it. Yeah. I can see what you're saying. Had to use white gel to fix it, but it didn't work out so well. This composition and idea came to me at the moment I started to draw. I wanted to capture what a child would feel like seeing one of their heroes just fly by their window. Good job doing it all traditionally. Traditional is always harder because you can't fix those mistakes, but it looks great. Keep going, man. Then and now comparison. This is a comparison of my brand new Mascot Camo. The one above is what I designed back in 2013, and the one on the bottom is what I did last year. Then and now. Well, now is definitely a lot clearer. You can really see it has a nicer silhouette. Then it's like you have all this green, and then you have the greens. Obviously he's camo, flaging, but it just makes the logo itself, the Mascot brand, I guess it's kind of a logo, fade away, and you can't really see it, especially if you squint. You just see the big block of wood. This is great though. Really nice character design, nice curvy lines, nice line weights. Really good, man. Very good. Day 73 escape. Aha, Craig Russell. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you on here. This is really nice. Look at the posing. This is really nice. That's a hard pose to do. You did a really good job at it. Both of these, really good. And this is all done traditionally. You guys check out Craig's Instagram. He's been posting these, at least he was doing them every day, and he's just working on a little story through Instagram. And it's just been fun to watch him grow as an artist, grow as a storyteller, experiment with storytelling. Yeah, some Inktober stuff too. Really good though, Craig. I really like your work. Keep it up, buddy. A business idea. All right, we're going to talk business, right? Let's talk business. A Borders bookstore consistent with values of cultural integrity. Mission statement. Book of Life Value Media Stores. At Book of Life Store, we believe that our community needs stories, like a tree needs nutrients and rain. We make a choice to feed our culture with uplifting stories and noble truths, sustaining values. Stories we love become our stories. So let's choose our stories wisely. The store will contain comics, movies, and music handpicked for cohesion and strong moral value. Sounds like a Christian bookstore. There's a tremendous amount of media that fits these strict qualifications. I believe that gathering some of it in one place would meet demand. The demand for a consumerism that isn't morally regressive. I've been mulling over the idea for a few years. A value-based shop that's informed by Christian values, but a promoter of cultural narratives rather than religious store would make a point not to sell theology. I thought I might find some sympathy with some of the brew crew, so I thought I'd ask any thoughts. Well, it kind of does. The thing that came to mind at first was a Christian bookstore, but Christian bookstores are obviously really geared towards Christians. It's not like it's for anyone else unless you're wanting to just find Christian material. I think it's kind of the same problem as like I'm a Christian, but I don't label my stuff as Christian comics because I don't want it to just be looked at as a comic about Jesus or something. You know, I think those are great, but it has a purpose at serving a Christian audience, being specifically Christian. So I just try to make mine about my faith and my beliefs and obviously morals and, you know, ideas like that. But I try to make it accessible to everybody, you know, kind of like C.S. Lewis with Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe. And, you know, whether you agree with that or not, I'm trying to just make something that stands up on its own in the professional, you know, like in bookstores, in any bookstore, that arises above as far as quality goes. That's what I'm striving for. It may not be there yet, but, you know, so that's that. But this is like saying, let's handpick and gather stuff that kind of has a Christian message to it, because that's the worldview you're looking through. You know, other religions would have a different worldview. They'd have a lot of similar morals, but a specific worldview that things need to be approved to get into the store. Okay, this is what it is. Any store you have, any person who has a store handpicks the stuff that they want to represent that store. So basically, you're just making a store, and the kind of stuff that you represent is that kind of stuff. And I don't think you need to label it as such. You just need to, you know, it's just the kind of stuff you represent. It's like publishers. Scholastic represents a certain kind of book. Image represents a different kind of book. You know, Image is more adult, and you're going to have a lot more crazy stuff. And Scholastic pumps straight into the schools, and so they've all been curated though, in a sense, to make sure it fits the message of the person who started the business. So I think it's a fine idea. I think you need a different kind of branding. Like, your branding needs to be uplifting stories, you know? I don't know. What are you going to brand it? That's kind of what I'm getting at. Because as soon as you say Christian morals and values, it excludes everyone else. And so if you want everyone else to be able to come into this thing, you need to make it open to everybody. It's just that it happens to be this is your curated stuff, right? So those are my thoughts anyway. Thanks for sharing your idea. Wizard concept, smiley face. Haven't decided on the design of his robes and the top of his staff. Worried, sad, angry. That's cool. I like how you have his mustache like changing shape based on his expression. You might want to think of angry more like, no, he looks, that makes him look smiley. I've drawn the mustache on my guy to be, when he's angry, it's down. Like almost like fangs. Sad is droopy. Worried, you could have him like this. Maybe his expressiveness is all in his mustache. That'd be kind of funny. Anyway, good designs. They're nice and simple. They're cute looking, just like someone said down here. And thanks for sharing, man. Z Shirts. Rocket Fan Art using Procreate and iPad Pro. I'm currently in college and developing a YouTube channel, Zach Shirts, and hope to make comics on webtoons. Your work inspires me. Thank you for creating such wonderful messages in your comics, and that's what's driving me to pursue this dream. That's cool, man. Appreciate that. I told you I got that arm. That's cool. Nice, man. The only thing I'd say to think about is usually like the kind of blurry airbrushiness in coloring is kind of a sign of amateur. So try to get some hard edges in there. Use your lasso tool, make some hard edges, get some harder brushes, and get some like solid shapes, not little scribbly. Let's go closer. So the scribbly, you know, scribbliness and the airbrushy coloring, that all kind of screams amateur, especially the scribbly airbrush. All this stuff, scribbly, like use your lasso tool, really try to refine what colors you're going to use. Use some, you know, feel free to use gradients and have shadow layers and all that stuff, but try to stay away from the scribbly airbrush. I don't think it's going to help. It doesn't plus anything very much. So those are my thoughts and suggestions, but you have nice color palettes, so that's good. You're not like going buck wild with the saturation and stuff like that. So that's actually, it's nice. It's nice to see that. Good color theory going on. Just work on the technique of getting that color onto your finished product. Does that make sense? Hopefully that helps. It's obviously, you know, my opinion too. So baby dragon character design analysis appreciated. There we go. It's the baby dragon. That's cute. You got some nice form in the body. It's nice. The form on the head is a little funny. You know, if you have this kind of line coming here, all this looks great here. But then this eye almost feels like it's not quite fitting on there. It feels a little twisted. It feels twisted, like it's twisting towards you or something. So maybe practice drawing that head at some different angles to try to really figure out what the form is, what the shape is. Maybe beef up some of this stuff in the foreground, like the foreground arm, to just kind of make it stand out a little bit more. It's looking good though. Let me read this real quick. This is the baby version of the main character of a book I'm currently illustrating for a client. The work is mostly physical and then scanned and tweaked digitally for presentation. As you might have guessed now, digital work isn't my forte. Then again, I have no idea what is my forte anyway. Well, especially since you're doing this for a children's book, I would definitely work on the head. I think the head is the weakest link. It has some neat qualities. I think all the design elements are there, but just the form of the head. Try to get that so you can turn that thing in 3D space. And you know it from all the different angles, you know, straight on, slightly three quarters, almost profile, slightly up, you know, try to draw it all those angles, at least in sketch form. And then if you can do that, then it's going to be really easy for you to just nail all those panels, all those shots from that point on for the story. And it will look really cohesive, right? I think the body's good though. You got the body. It seems like the body that you have a little more worked out. This one's by Kuro Akumako. Hi Jason, my graphic novel Ninth Son Legacy. Fantasy world, the main character is a young man on a mission to find out the truth behind how his parents were killed and take revenge. Rated 15+ for violence, mild language, suggestive themes. Your spelling and grammar is really bad. Mine too. So I won't be able to point out any problems with it. All right, let's check out these pages. Very nice, and I can tell you've put some time into these. That's cool. I like the amount of work you're putting into the backgrounds. Everything looks really like you're really trying to polish it nicely. I think this face is the only one that kind of sticks out for me as needing to be a little bit more refined. Maybe practice these faces from different angles as well, like I mentioned on the last one. It's not bad though. It's I might need to just see more of this guy's face, actually, see what he looks like, because it, you know, the more I look at it, the more I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But it just stood out to me when I first saw it. So by all means, please don't redo it. Keep moving. It looks like you're making some nice progress and you're putting in a lot of time and effort into this. If anything, I'd say it's probably too polished. Is there such a thing as too polished? In my opinion, yes, because it makes things look stiff. But I don't want to stop you from doing the style you want to do. I wouldn't redo the pages anymore though. Just keep going. Just make new progress. But this is a great start. You guys, if you like this, definitely check it out on these links. Thanks for showing me your graphic novel. Draw This Your Style by Damachan11. That's cool. Let's get that bigger so we can see it in all its glory. It's neat seeing the progress. I like the end result. been doing more draw this in your style because I found myself drawing a lot of fan art and I wanted to draw something different, but I ran out of inspiration and I got so frustrated with myself. Very cool. I saw another one that's here. Retouch. Okay, here's the finished one. Very nice. My husband made some remarks about my last post, so I decided to fix it. Here's the end result. I think it looks beautiful. I think it's a great style. I think it's a great job coloring. I like the little effects you got on there. It's a nice blend between what looks like digital and traditional. Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say. Thanks for posting. Thanks for sharing. Page from my graphic novel about raising awareness about sex trafficking. Didn't we already see this? I did, didn't I? Oh no, this is a new page. Any thoughts on the background? I kind of threw it in so there was something there. How should I go about making the background better without distracting from the lady? Well, I think it really would just require figuring out the perspective, figuring out the camera angle and the perspective, unless you want to just hint at it. Obviously, what you're doing right now is just hinting at the background. What I like to do when I'm hinting at it is just use shapes. Don't use lines. I just use the lasso tool and just throw in shapes, but I still try to keep aware of the perspective that needs to be in place. So, you have a place here, like there's obviously something, there's something here, right? So, these shapes would probably be more, perspective oriented. And if this one's there, one would be back here that's further back, and maybe this one's in the foreground. Does that make sense? But right now, what you have is this perspective is flat here, but then it kind of like wraps down like this to blend in with where she's standing, right? And so, like, you just need to map that stuff out, figure it out, and then you can just hint at it, just like you have. You don't have much. You don't need much. It just needs to be put in accurately, and then it will really sell the idea. Does that make sense? It might even just be something like have this one forward, this one further, erase this line here, maybe have another one in the background that's even further away. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe that's it. Just those shapes, foreground to background, darker and lighter as they go back. Okay, that's an idea. You could also have her shadow coming and going up one of these to kind of tie her into the background. Ideas, those are all ideas. But anyway, that's what I would suggest. Approved. Keep that up though. I want to see more. Keep posting more, please. I started digital portrait paintings. This is by iBun. Wow. So this is like a person, a friend of yours, and then you digitally painted them as Princess Mononoke? That is cool. Oh, people are gonna dig that up, right? I mean, people want that. I'm sure you got a big line of people that would want their portrait painted as one of these characters, right? Is that what you're doing? Maybe that's not what you're doing, but I'm already excited about it. Okay, keep going. Well, okay, business plan. If we're talking business ideas, someone start doing fan art of cool characters like Princess Mononoke and then offer to put your face on the character and paint it as a portrait. Is that what? I don't know if that's what you're doing, but if that's not what you're doing, then that's an awesome idea. I'm a total idiot, but I am excited about it. That looks really good. This is beautiful. Really cool. Good job, man. Man, woman, whatever. I don't know if you're a man or woman. Good job, though. Would watercolor be a good medium for my graphic novel? There's some neat qualities in it. I like it. I would have to see more, honestly. I don't think this can sell me on the idea just yet. Like, what does this character look like in an environment? Do that, and I can answer your question. Metroid Fan Art. This is my most recent art, which I made as a present for my husband's birthday. I would love to hear any thoughts that anyone has on it. It's a major departure from what I usually draw. I was surprised that it worked out. Metroid. I think it looks great, Holly. That's a nice piece. I mean, that's a nice frameable piece, and it's all real media. That's nice. I think your husband should be proud and very pleased with his birthday present. Someone said, would love to see some background with the art. I would suggest not doing a background. I think it's nice and graphic the way it is. With the white background, it really is nice. Nice statement, nice piece of art. You could do a background for it if it was in a comic book or something like that. But as a nice standalone piece of art, I think it's beautiful. My only worry would be how close this little guy's head is to the edge of the border. because if you frame it, you know, the framing would be right there, and it would end up being a tangent on that guy's head. Same with the foot, little tangent. This arm is fine because it already breaks through it so much. But your eye would be pulled into that and that. Does that make sense? That would be my only concern as a piece of art, is just being able to frame it, put it on the wall without it causing tangents when it's being framed. So anyway, very good, Holly. Thank you for showing me. Figuary sketching challenge in February. Getting better at anatomy. The YouTube channel Love Life Drawing is doing a collaboration with something to bring us 30 days of figure drawing videos. Interesting. Uh-oh. Nudity. I can't show this on my channel now. We need a nice little square over top of that, please.
28 days, we're going to post a video with guidance about figure drawing with tips.
Oh, that's cool.
And the Crocky Cafe channel, who we're teaming up with,
Uh-oh.
they provide really amazing light
Close your eyes, kids.
resources.
This is great. If you guys want some good figure drawing stuff, that sounds like a great place to go. Thanks for posting the link. Very, very helpful. Fan art of Hilda and Hat Kid from Hat in Time. I cannot say that statement very well. Very well. I can't speak either. That's cute. I love it. That's some really nice drawing. Is it digital or is it traditional? Digital! Totally digital, but it looks great. Really nice form and shape. Nice expressions. Nice pumpkin. Nice, form. You know, the kids are like popping out nicely, and I don't know. It's great. Approved. Is there anything else you gotta say? My name is Matthew, and I'm a self-taught artist and animator. Very well done self-teaching there going on. The character in the center is my own character named Annabelle. I felt she needed some friends, so I surrounded her with some of my favorite characters and their friends, and I was hoping to get some feedback on whether or not this style would work in a comic book or children's book. It would work beautifully in a comic or children's book, probably more favoring towards children's book, but you know, all I would make sure to do is make sure you have nice, clean, sharp lines when you do it. But I think Scholastic eats this stuff up. Like, there's a lot of children's graphic novels out there nowadays that are totally in this vein. And in fact, I think this is better art than a lot of graphic novels for young kids. So definitely go do it. Definitely do it. It's beautiful. I would really like to see what a finished panel or page would look like. But as far as the quality of your art and your ability, definitely, for sure, hands down. Not even a question. All right, guys. Well, this is the end of this video. Thank you for posting your stuff. Let's check this one out really quick. Oh, nice. Character for a comic day, for a comic I may do at some point. That looks great. Before you focus on your style, let's work on that anatomy. So take some anatomy things. I got cognitive drawing. That might help you as well. Anyway, thanks, guys, for joining us in the Brew Crew. And you, too, can be part of the Brew Crew if you sign up on Reddit and post something in Brubaker submissions. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time. All right, let's get the party started, shall we? Welcome to Brew Crew. Welcome to Brew Crew. Welcome to Brew Crew. Skepticus Book 1, posted by Howard CB 1665. Beep. Hey, Jason, hope all is well. Here's a cover design for my first graphic novel, Skepticus, which is book 1 in a 3-book series. I have finished 80 plus pages of the first book. I'm just making the last tweaks before going down the route of web publishing. Very good. That looks really cool. Nice painting style. 80 pages, huh? I guess so we can't find it. It's a dark historical fiction set in the Great Plague of London, 1665. Ah, I see. Now 1665 makes sense with your username here. Any feedback from your good self and the community would be much appreciated. I love it. I love the contrast of the colors. The only thing I would suggest is take this red, the red from this blood, and make it the same color. Make this logo that same color. This is a lot more contrasty red than this. This is more muted. And the background here is kind of muted colors. So that being that, so this title logo being that bright of a red would really pop, I think. Then it's playing with the mutedness versus non-muted. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. But I like it. I that stands out to me as is already. So do that, and I think it'll stand out even more. Can't wait to see it. Please share it with us, or me, at least me. Send it to me, please. Please. Pittman page spread work in progress. You look this way. Look at that. That is amazing. Look at that. Okay, now I'm actually looking at it. That's really cool. I like the detail. It looks like these floating buildings, and it's like that guy who does he does these paintings of junks, you know, like what those old boats, junks, like whether they Chinese, is that the name of these Chinese boats, I think, but they're always floating and they're always in these weird cities like this. Very sci-fi. I really like this. Very, very nice stuff. And this weird structure up here is really cool. I like it. I like it. Approved. OG Captain Marvel by Rambot88. Look at that. Looks good. Approved. No comments. Let's see. I would work on these muscles. Got to get these muscles kind of like a little bit more like figured out, I think. You know? Get those muscles figured out, and I think that will take it a long way. There's a little bit of cheek here. A little bit too much cheek. I don't know. Those are all my own opinions, obviously. I like the foreshortening here, the perspective. Action lines. It's looking good. This looks like it's traditional, right? Doesn't look digital to me, which is, in my opinion, it's a lot harder to pull this off traditionally. So this is a good job with traditional media. Oh, wait, I just saw something. You have her body kind of going here. I see it. I see it now. It was kind of hidden. And then you have these other details here. Okay, that actually looked kind of like mistakes at first. And but now I see what you're trying to do. It's good. All right. Well, thanks for showing me. Thanks for showing us. If anyone has any critiques you want to give, feel free to jump onto the Reddit and give some critiques. A digital painting I did last year. Very nice. You know, I feel like there's a lot of saturation in everything. A lot of saturation in the background and saturation in the foreground. I think if you can pick one to be more saturated, I think the background's more saturated at this point. So that's good, but it's still everything kind of feels the same saturatedness. And this foreground, it feels kind of like all earthy colors, which is kind of an interesting thing to do inside of a spaceship. I would almost think you would want to have like the glows of this like dominating and shining, you know, shining these greens or maybe reds or blues or something. But right now it feels real earthy, which is a interesting combination. But I think you did really well rendering all this stuff. It's a good job. It's a neat picture. So I'm just being picky just to be picky. This is by Groneth 79. It's Batman.
It's Batman.
Here's your Instagram, Sketchworks Ray. Good job. Nice Batman. Is there any comments? No comments. If you want me to be critical, I'd say the foot is getting real close to that edge, and so it's pulling your eyeballs off the page. This arm is kind of a little lost. It's difficult to see it, and the cape is kind of like it's just getting crowded and muddy, so it makes it kind of hard see it really clearly. I feel like the pose could be a little stronger. Right now, the pose is just kind of like it's almost like he's was squatting and you took a picture of him, you know? I don't know what to change, you know, maybe you can have that, but then also rotate him. Great start though. Keep it up. Thanks for sharing. Kayla Brick Art. This is a lineup I did for one of my comic projects to figure out each character design. The comic is a little too big in terms of the amount of characters and scale, so I'm doing something smaller to start. Was going to do the CGMA course for the comic I'm working on, but it was canceled. Sorry about that. Watching my channel, it's helpful. Thank you. Look at those characters. That's nice. You got a lot of characters. Yes. These are some really cool looking character designs. I think there's some of them that you might that might get confused with each other. I don't know, like maybe this guy and this guy have some similarities. I almost suspect that it's the same guy, but with the mask on. But anyway, let's check out your Instagram. Neat looking stuff. Yeah, definitely start small with your comics, you know, experiment, start small, and as you go, you can keep growing into more epic stuff. Oh, cool. I'm glad you guys are communicating down in here. An animation I made with an out of context Kingdom Hearts line. I don't know what that means, but let's check it out.
Mickey, it's Riku. They put bugs in him. What?
All right, so you made an animation and you used some sound from Kingdom Hearts, right? That's what you're saying? Great animation. I like it. This is my very first complete video animation. Definitely a milestone for me. Pretty silly and funny video though. It's great, man. Keep it up. By Thunder Clouds. Yeah, man. Keep making the animation. That's a good first one. I'm impressed. First comic. Jason, I was hoping you and the community could take a look at our comic and tell us how we can improve. My writer and I are best friends, and we each have families and kids, so being fast and producing consistently is challenging. But we're in no rush, and we just want to make something that matters to us and that people will like it. Would love to hear any comments and criticisms. See, I know what it means this time. Comments and criticisms, or critiques and criticisms. No, maybe I don't know what it is. On what we've done with issue 1. I haven't gained a ton of traction with what we've done thus far. Hoping to hear how we can improve there. Hoping to wrap up issue 2. Okay, let's go look at this thing. Whoa. What am I? That is the biggest web page ever. To be continued. Oh, nice. Okay, my biggest gripe is the website it's really hard to, it's just a lot of stuff going on and it's hard to figure out how to navigate next, okay? Like I would almost remove this giant image in the background. Like, sorry, my mouse doesn't work very good either, which makes it even harder. But I mean, it really slows things down having that giant image in the background. I don't know, the template that you're using is it's hard to navigate through it, I guess. Cool looking pages. It's so kind of clunky and cumbersome to navigate through those pages that it makes it difficult for me to want to read it. So that's my honest feedback right now. But maybe post like 5 pages in a row here in this forum, and maybe I'll read through them. Whoa, it's snowing outside. Distractions. All right, welcome to Brew Crew. We're gonna get this party started quickly. First of all, there's a lot of old posts that I'm gonna try to look at really quick. Vietnam. This is posted by Viper1390. No comments, Viper130. This is really cool though, I like it. It's a cool concept. It's a funny play on words. It looks like a nice VizDev painting or a color key almost. It feels a little dark in this region, and I wish I could see it not quite as large as this. but I can't. But we can zoom in to this, I guess. It feels a little dark here, like some of the stuff gets a little muddy, but other than that, I feel like some of these shapes could pop out a little bit better so that they don't just get super lost. That's my only comment, or that's my only criticism, but I like the idea. Really cool. A patron! All right, welcome patrons. You guys, if you are a patron, you should get a badge here. Sometimes it hasn't been working, but most of the times it has. So let's see, this is a really cool piece. It looks kind of like a children's book illustration almost. Greetings, everyone. Here's a print illustration I made last August based on my 2016 and 17 Inktober series. I don't intend on redoing or revising this anymore. Any critiques are welcome. I think there's a funny little tangent right here with this ball touching the edge of the moon. You could have a little bit of glow around the edge of this moon. You have it kind of in the color here, but you could glow it a little bit more if you wanted. That's just a stylistic choice. I'd say watch the tones between, you know, the background and the foreground of this character. You can either choose, you know, hues or saturations or contrasts that would play a role in the foreground character and this foreground rock. So you have contrasts in this character, this girl, that is more contrasty than all the contrast to the background. Right now there's a lot of tones that are the same, so it doesn't push it back in space or it doesn't pull it forward. And so you have a painting that feels flat. Now it can be flat for a reason. You know, I've been hired to make stuff look flat, look like it's cut out and made out of paper. But if that's your intention, then that's good. But I don't think that would be your intention. You've separated out the clouds nicely with the blurs, but at the same time, it feels like a forced blur. Well, because there's no other blurs on anything else. And so stylistically, I would push to make the clouds more of a hard shape and just work on that shape and make it beautiful versus blurring it, because it starts feeling like Photoshop, if that makes sense. And I know it is Photoshop or one of these painting things, but that's just a real critical thing. I don't think the clouds stand out as much as the depth. Good job though. Thanks for posting that. I think it deserves to be a print as is. Just keep those things in mind for your next piece of artwork. We got another one of these sweet turnarounds. Look at that. That is so cool. I love it. Kappa Comics, another turnaround. These are brilliant. I think these are such cool methods of studying your characters. Approved. Let's check out this Instagram. Kindly Alligator. What does it say? There's some cool textures in here. These background textures looks kind of digital. It looks like a cross between digital and traditional to me. Is it digital or is it traditional? I've been told that I'm incorrect on some of my assumptions. Cool characters. Neat stuff, man. Keep going. That's the name of the game. Here's another Instagram. This one is, let's see, Donnie Frank Art. I am a huge fan of your channel, thank you, and continue to be inspired by your journey. It is hard to get an honest, experienced critique, and I would mean the world, thanks. A critique. Okay, if you guys want a critique, give me one piece, okay? I can't critique your whole Instagram archive. So stylistically, I think this is cool, a cool style, but I don't know if you have a foundation in anatomy yet. So I'd say maybe back up, do that crash course in anatomy. Before you push too much more stylistic. If you have, then good. But like I say, I don't know how to critique an Instagram portfolio. So send me one piece if you guys want to critique. Other than that, it looks good, man. Keep going. Keep going. You're approved to keep using Instagram. Here's a comic from El Gastro. Let's check out this comic, shall we? The Battle of the Chrome Domes. Masterworks versus Ramsey Dewey. Okay, the camera is set. Everyone ready to record. Classic ballet versus Krav Maga zombies. Yo, half-cook swine. I see your video making fun from my perfect technique. You think you can get away with dat? And then this guy is up here and his words are blocked. I challenge you to a kung fight! And then these guys look at each other, huh? I don't know if I'm reading this right. Fine. He has a tutu on. If I win, you are paying the repairs for that wall. Ha 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 ha. I will chew you like the fresh... I don't know how to read this comic. You know what I'm saying? I don't even, it takes me too long to like decipher what is being saying. Master Wong, please, this is embarrassing. Can we talk like civilized people? Never die! Poot! Ah! Alright, gentlemen, this video is instead going to be titled Ballet versus Masonry. No knife. I don't know what I just read. I don't understand it. I'm just being honest. I don't understand. I see there's a lot of inside jokes here. A lot of stuff that maybe it's political, maybe it's I don't get it. This comic is based on two personalities from the martial arts corners of YouTube. Okay? Now I'm starting to understand a little better why I don't understand what this is about. And it was a little exercise on composing a one-shot story on a single page. If you would like to see more of my work, okay. So here you go, guys. Check out this link, ArtStation, El Gostro. If you want to see more of this, I guess some of it's not safe for work. So there you go. Great job trying to put a whole pile of stuff into one page, though. It's totally over my head, though. Okay, Tom C. Blake. So please let me know any way I can improve on my art to better on my ongoing comic series. Yeah, this is Tom's Instagram page, which maybe I asked him for it in my last video. You got some great watercolors and colors. Oh my goodness. I love your style. Look at this. That's beautiful. But look at this evil creature. I love your art style, man. Really nice, loose. Love the use of blacks. I love the colors now that I'm seeing more of your color work. It's just a really neat, classic looking style. Really cool. Thanks for showing me. Hey guys, please go subscribe to this guy, Tom C. Blake. Really good artist. The Brood comic, page 19, pencils, work in progress. Attack! I'm working on my long-suffering comic. Any critiques would be great. Anything to amp up the drama, thanks. You know, I like the pencils. The pencils are a lot clearer than the inks. I think it's because you can there's a little bit more control or something in the pencils, maybe. There's the shading too. I love it. I really like your pencils, man. I'm kind of in the boat that I think your pencils are stronger than your inks, even though your inks are good from what I saw on the last time I looked at your stuff. It's kind of like the problem that I had when I was submitting my comics. I submitted inks over pencils, and my inks would it wasn't as strong as my pencils, so it would knock down a lot of the oomph that the pencils had. But there was some really good inks. I remember, like, this guy looked really good the way he was inked. Maybe it's just figuring out where the lights and the darks are and making some more decisions. Like this could be almost all black behind him, and so all the characters would pop out. I don't know. I mean, obviously you can make things pop in color as well, but I think it's fun to look at. This guy's head looks a little funny, the perspective on the eyes or something, but all this stuff looks really neat. Yeah, I don't want to tell you like to not do something. I say just keep rocking. You're a really good artist. You have strong compositions and great action. Just keep going, and you'll start refining how to make things pop, I think, in your inks. Maybe you can try taking this and going straight to color from this, boosting the contrast. I don't know. It's a suggestion. I did it with Remind, my pencils, but I believe you're doing this all in digital, so it wouldn't really work the same way. Oh, what to do? I don't know, man. I like what you're doing already, so I think you just need to keep going, honestly. I don't want to tell you to do something different because you're doing a good job. Strider Designs, original comic design. Hi, Jason. He's on Instagram. Here's his Instagram page and Facebook page. This looks really good, though. Let's look at it up close. Looks really slick. It looks like a sticker almost, has that kind of sticker quality to it. My only thing is that it looks a little stiff, I like that you have his arm moving here, but I mean, I guess that's a lot of what character designs are. You're not really worried about making dynamic poses and all that stuff. You're just trying to nail down the character design, and so this is definitely like graphic design sense, t-shirt design, commission art world, character design world. I think you're in the right vein definitely with this, so keep going, man. Strider Designs. So here you are, you're doing it. You're doing logo designs. I think you would need to do a lot more work with anatomy and studying figure drawing and all that stuff to really beef up your character designs. To me, it doesn't look as like you've put in the mileage quite yet, you know a lot of the tricks and all the programs, but you haven't put in the mileage to make the line work really stand out. So that would be my only comment is take some time, take a year or two to really just push yourself in drawing anatomy and realistic humans, not trying to push into a style yet. Just try to learn line weight, drawing, anatomy, and just obsess over that. And then when you come back to this stuff will get. That's my advice. When I worked in the world of design, what I would always be confused with is there was a lot of designers who didn't know how to draw. And so they had to trace everything. And it really, really stunted their ability to design amazing stuff. They were good with design and graphic design and the programs, but they had to break out magazines and trace over everything. And so if you can really push your art to where you're not, I'm not saying you're tracing, but just push your art so you don't fit into that category of the fancy designers that get paid a lot that can't draw. You know what I'm saying? And it's obvious you can draw, but I can see you need more mileage, more line mileage, if that makes sense. And that just comes with time, comes with work, commitment to it. So keep going though, man. Your designs are great. Flightless 4L. All right, welcome. I gave you another thumbs up. Watched Jason's video today where he commented on seeing progressions. I thought I could show my progress pretty easily. I've been working on typewritten since March of 2017, and I think it's gotten a lot better since the beginning as far as the art goes. I've slowly settled into a style, and I guess I like the way it looks. I don't know what to say, man. It's stick figures. It's a cool stick figure style. Oh, I like this car. This is cool. I mean, the shape language is a lot better here for as simple as stick figures are, which I don't want to knock stick figures out. I admire artists who can figure out a style that they can knock out like this. And in fact, I'm kind of jealous. So I'm going to say all this with resentment and jealousy towards you. No, I'm being sarcastic, but I'm kind of not. I like the simplicity, actually, now that I look at it. And you're right, it's a big difference from this stuff here at the top. This stuff here at the top, it's like, ooh, this has some nice form to it. Like the hat, the shapes here, it actually feels like characters are in 3D, which is kind of impressive for stick figures. There's little things, little accents like that are really good. This is a really nice card. Let me just say that. This is a really nice drawing here. And it's neat with the little stick figures mixed with this really cool drawing. It looks like you put a lot of time into this stuff. So anyway, there you go, man. If you can get a style like this to work for you and be able to say the things you want to say, more power to you. The simplicity of your little character designs actually do look good. So I am giving you props for that, man. Daily Sketch 12 Face Series. Let's watch this video. This is by Package 17.
A few moments later.
It's cool, man. Looks good. I assume this is from a photograph, which is great to study from. Looks good, man. If you guys want to check out this guy's videos, he has 144 subscribers. Let's give him some love. Where's the channel name? Alex Lander. Keep going, Alex. 4 pages from my free webcomic, The Forgotten. Hopefully your webcomic doesn't get forgotten. Hi everybody, here's 4 pages from the second chapter of my webcomic. I've been enjoying looking at everyone's stuff. There's really cool stuff on here. You can see more of my webcomic at Dynamite Comics. Oh, it's Gabe! Hey buddy. Gabe actually helped me a couple years back. Did some work on Cithra 2 and a little on Cithra 3. And helped me with webtoons conversion. Let's check out Gabe's comic. Ooh, look at that nice use of depth with the colors and the saturation going back. Yes, it's looking good, Gabe. Yeah, it's just way too big. This is cool. So this is like a double page spread. You got the nice fold right here in the center and a little bit of space. You might want to push these words out just a little bit more to the sides. Just a little more if you can. Just because this gutter, that's it, the gutter things just get eaten up in that gutter. I love you just hit a little part of this canvas with that nice bright saturation, and then the rest is fading, and it works really good. And the colors have different color palettes, which make them kind of pop out. And then obviously the foreground, the black silhouettes of the trees work really well. I hope people go to this word balloon before they go to this one. When they come over to this page, you might want to just push this one up here, or I don't know, because you're hoping that people actually read it up, which is kind of counterintuitive, but I think that's the way I would do it. So, naturally you would read it like that, but then, if you're on this page, I'm hoping people start here. I think they will. I mean, you could always solve that problem by just starting it up here and then kind of leading it down into this situation. You know what I'm saying? So that people read that way and then they know they have to go this way, right? But I think this works. I think that works as is. A really good job on the stuff. I can see a lot of things we talked about when you work with me. You're implementing that, and it's really neat to see. Good work, Gabe. If you guys like what you see with Gabe's comic, go check out Dynamite Comics. Let's look at it. Oh, nice. Very nice. There we go. Dynamite Comics, The Forgotten. Cool, man. Keep it up. I'm glad to see you're making it happen. The first page of my storyboard for Dragonfire. I'll link the rest in the comments. So this is a storyboard, right? So you're going to use this to make into a show, a movie, an animation, right? If that's the case, you should probably do it in Letterbox, because now everything is high def. This isn't even like old TV aspect ratio. This is full on square. Maybe you're doing it for mobile phones. I don't know. But that'd be depending on what you're planning on making the storyboard for. Storyboards are usually when you're going to film something or animate something and you're planning it out. So that'd just be my first initial thought, having done storyboards for years and years and years, because the composition of a square panel is completely different than the composition of a letterbox. It's a completely different feel, but you're probably just focusing on the action, what happens. So these people are coming, this little girl walks in, sits here, she sees this dragon thing and it's running around on a ball, and then what does it, suck it up? I don't know, and they're happy. Okay, if you're doing animation, you're gonna have to have a lot more frames than this, because it's not super clear what's going on. Like, does this ball form from this girl's fire? Does he suck in this fiery ball? Is that fire? There's so many questions, and usually you don't do this kind of thing. I don't know, unless you're just doing it for yourself. Is this woman inside this crowd? This crowd is really little, and then here it looks like it's a big, wide crowd. So anyway, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of potential problems. There's some neat drawings though, so you have that on your side. Doing good drawings. I don't know what it's for, so I guess there's a lot of questions that arise in my mind, and hopefully I helped give you some questions to try to answer when you're thinking about these storyboards. Cover design for my comic. I'm going to take advantage of Alterna's printing partnership. I don't know what that is. Is that a printer? Hopefully it's not a company that takes all the rights of your thing. The Books of Shadows, Urban Legends. That's cool. Okay, the one thing I would say is the color. There's a lot of saturation. There's almost saturation everywhere you look, which is usually a beginner mistake. I would choose some things to be saturated and choose some things not to be. So if you want the background to be this saturated, maybe make the characters less saturated. If you want the foreground character to be that saturated, knock down the saturation of the background. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, everything's like going off the charts on saturation. So everything's fighting for your attention in that vein. The only thing that's not saturated is this title. This part is kind of saturated, but it's not the only thing that's not saturated, but it definitely stands out. It definitely like fades away, and you don't want your title to just blend in. Like squint and look at this title, and you won't be able to read it because it's all like the same saturation, like the reds here and the blues behind it. This guy pops out. This guy pops out nicely, So take some picks, like maybe knock some of these colors in with some reds and knock these colors down. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of that's just the reoccurring thing here is a lot of colors fighting for your attention. They're all saturated. Figure out what you want the viewer to focus on, and make some decisions of what to kind of knock back, so that there's like maybe 10%, 20% of this image has unique colors that pull your attention to it. My assumption would be the girl, you would want to pull your attention to her. So make her have kind of a unique color palette. And maybe these eyes are glowing, you know, and you have this guy in the foreground too, which I don't know, it kind of competes. Let's go back to this. Let's look at it from a distance. I would almost take all of this here and just knock it real far back in the background because this is brighter than anything, so it's hogging your attention. You could have the eyes there kind of subtly glowing in the background. You probably want to make her like stand out. Maybe she has all reds or blues or something and the background is more reds. This guy's kind of a problem though. I don't know what to do with him. It just kind of feels forced in there. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I think it's a great start though, but definitely work on the saturation, okay? And we're gonna have to stop this video right here. Thank you guys for watching Brew Crew. Keep submitting your stuff. I actually came in Saturday to work on this recording. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, submitting your stuff, keep joining, keep posting stuff, and I'll try to get to every single one of them. What up? I saw this, you know, before I took my sabbatical, before I retired from Brew Crew and then decided I needed to come back because I'm broke. I tried to simplify. Mr. Jason taught us about creating covers. I taught you this. Oh, I'm so proud. This looks beautiful. I think it really holds up well. I like how there's the blues on the character. Oh, there's some details back here too. And then the oranges mixed together. And I love the style, okay? I really do love the style of this that you're doing for this Webtoons comic. If you haven't seen this comic on Webtoons, check it out, because if you like this cover, the whole thing is like this. It's a really cool. I give you a round of applause. So this was the first version, which is already strong. I mean, it's good. Look, I didn't teach you anything. Dude, you already know what you're doing. But now that, you know what? Both covers are good. I don't think I taught you anything. You're doing great. Keep it up, man. This is by Mystic Fox 4. Hello, everyone. I remember watching some people posting about some progress and stuff through their old posts. I think I have grown a lot, so take a look at my first post. Okay, so everybody go to Mystic Fox 4 and follow them on Instagram. So this is the newest stuff. That is beautiful. Wow, you are a good artist. Okay, I gotta go all the way down to the bottom. Can't you do this for me? All right, I've been scrolling for a while. I can't find the end of this thing, but all I gotta say is your art is beautiful, even back at the beginning. Like you're one of those people that was born with talent. Anyone who knows me will be hurting when they hear me say that. Hello everyone. I made a comic based on a game a friend likes to play. Let me know what you think. Here's my art station where I posted better resolution. Fearless. Is ArtStation the new thing? I've never used it before. Dwight! Beep, 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 beep. Haha. Beep, beep, beep. Smash. Beautiful art. So this is by ILIJAG, capital G. First 6 rough pages of comic I've been drawing. The story script itself is written by Joshua Thomas. All his information there, and drawn by me. Story, okay, let's just look at this thing. The story and art itself would be considered a love child of the Lovecraftian mythos and noir mystery, drawn in the grayscale except for the red where the script mentions it. Like I said in the title, these are rough drafts, and such are the subject to change. I plan on cleaning up the art before we submit it to a comic book publisher. Okay, so I understand now, because I made a commentary on it being too sketchy, but I understand now that it's sketchy and you're going to clean it up. So I think the colors, the compositions, the sketches are really great for sketches. And I love the idea of the red being the one color that pops out. So I say go for that. Go for it. Some cool stuff. In case you're wondering how to pronounce my name, it would be something like Elia. Is that, did I pronounce your pronunciation right? Elia. Cool. Okay. I hope, I'll probably, next time I see it, I probably will forget. So I apologize. That looks great though. Keep going. I love what you're doing. Let's look at this. Tiefling Rogue, trying to work on my line work. Let me know what you think. That looks nice. Getting good. It looks to me like you're probably using like one kind of line weight type, like a micron brush, not a micron brush, but like a pen that has one weight to it, and then you're going back over it to get the line weights built up. That's always very frustrating for me to do that. I know you can control it a little more, but it just looks more forced. I would experiment with some brushes. Experiment with like the Pentel brush pen for some of those line weights. You can always go in and add these kind of like clothing lines with like a micron pen, after the fact. But all these ones on the outside that you're trying to get these weights into, instead of going over it and over it and over it with like a micron, if that's what you're doing, just try to get something that actually has line weight built into it. So either a soft nib type brush that you can push hard and get it bigger, not a brush, but a pen, or a marker, where the harder you push, the bigger that the weight goes on that line. And then you don't have to sit there and noodle as much. But I think you're doing good. I think you're coming along well with your inking. I wanted to compare my style between starting my comic about 1.5 years ago and now. And I thought it might be neat to post the result here. Let's see it. I know, senseless squirrel, you were in your patron and Discord, which I've abandoned. So episode 1, July 4th, 2017 is this. Bling! Episode 12, episode 31. Look at that. The line weights and it's getting good, man. And look at that. That looks sick. I don't know. I think it's quite the difference. There's so much more strength in these lines and these drawings now. So much more confidence. This is good. I mean, you had a handle on it from the start, and I could tell you knew which direction you wanted to go. But man, I mean, even this, it's really confident now in those brush lines. So good, man. Great. That's neat. Thanks for showing. Sample comic page, Team 88. Looks great. I think coloring is going to really plus this because it'll pull out and separate all those details. Right now, it's kind of, you can see it if if you really work at it, but you have such cool details all the way through every aspect of the page that it kind of loses some of the details of the characters and stuff. But if you're going to color it, then good stuff, And it looks to me like you're going to color. You have some color words right there. So, nice. Thanks for sharing. Usagi Jimbo after Stan Sakai. You know what? Story about Stan Sakai. Stan Sakai. You guys might have known I submitted Remind to the Xeric grant in 2010, right like the year that it got canceled. So I won the Xeric grant and got funding for Remind 1. And then I published Remind 2 and crowdfunded it and was at a comic convention. I think it was WonderCon. And this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Do you have a Remind 2?" I was like, "Sure." Showed it to him. And he just looked at it for a while and he's like, "I just wanted to check it out because I'm Stan Sakai. I was one of the judges on the Xeric grant and I approved your Remind book." And I was like, "What? Stan Sakai, and what? You approved Remind? You were one of the judges? What?" My mind was just like blown like 3 times in one sentence. And so I shook his hand and I was just like, "Thank you," because I didn't collect a lot of his work, but I totally knew who he was and totally admired him and loved his stuff. So anyway, that was just a fun little story. That's cool. Okay, it's going a little too slow. Let's watch it burn faster. It's beautiful. Patreon or Subscribestar? ? Hi everyone, I just created an account for Patreon and one for Subscribestar, but I'm not sure which one to use to start creating a graphic novel. So Subscribestar doesn't accept PayPal payments though. Sorry, this might not be the place to ask, but Jason can always kick me out. LOL. All right, let's remove you as spam. No, I'm joking. Good question. I do have my complaints with Patreon, but if I dig deep enough, I'll have complaints with Subscribestar. At the end of the day, I think you have to go where the traffic is and where people generally accept the transactions and are used to things operating. Currently, Patreon is the place to do Patreon type subscription models. I've also dabbled with Subscribestar. It's fine. It works just as well. The reason they don't do PayPal is because PayPal was giving them problems, I guess. So they didn't use PayPal anymore. Whatever. I don't know all the details. I think you're going to have more luck using Patreon, whether they're having drama or not, whether they have bad press or not, because people are already on that platform and they're already used to it and they're comfortable with it. They have their credit cards in that platform already. It has a huge subscriber base, and that's just where things are right now. You're going to have to convince people not only to support your comic, but jump onto Subscribestar if you do it there. And that's just another hurdle, which means bad. I would suggest Patreon. You can have both of them at the same time if you really want to try it, but I don't really see the point. I think if you have a big following and you don't like what Patreon's doing and you wanted to do something different, that would be one thing. But just start out and try to get anyone to support you, I would suggest Patreon probably. So that's my answer. Whoa, we are live! Welcome to Brew Crew. I just want to say that I really like this community. You guys are very supportive, and I'm just trying to make it as difficult as possible for you to watch this video. So anyway, so here we got a page by Cord Nielsen. Hey, Cord, thank you for posting a page here on Reddit. Hey guys, I've been following Jason's stuff for a while. I'm currently working on a graphic novel. All the pages are thumbnailed and I'm 6 pages into the pencils. I'll post some of the pages here now and then. Any feedback is appreciated. Thanks. Okay, let's do some feedback. Look at that. So we got a guy walking. It must be like in ancient times because he's in a robe and goes through this place. It must be dark outside because we got these X's. I like how this light's going to look. I can visualize it. I think it's going to be good. He's looking in a library with a bunch of books and scrolls, I guess. He has his little candle. He's a nice hand, nice arm, nice posing, nice face. Cord, I think you're doing a great job. By Inimaroso. Some Star Wars fan art from a new member. I just joined today. Except it was 2 months ago when you posted this. Sorry, I'm just being really slow here. Sorry about that. I just joined today, but I've been watching Jason's YouTube videos for a few months now. Anyway, here's a drawing I did back in around 2016. I want new art. Sorry, I really appreciate you posting today. Thank you. I'm joking, but I'm partially not. I want, like, this is awesome, but keep moving forward. 2016 is a long time ago. So show me new art. Let's do new art. I want to see you guys doing stuff now. But let's still look at this. I think it's great. And look at that beer bottle. That looks pretty realistic. Really nice coloring. You know what? I apologize for saying I want new art. I mean, it's obvious you probably make... Okay, I'm just going to jump to a conclusion that you do art every day and you're just posting this because it was a cool concept from a long time ago. Am I right? Nothing wrong with that. Beautiful art. Keep going, man. I love it. Approve! I want to see some new stuff, though. Serious. Sharing my webcomic by... What's this? Trimcaleprodo Prime. Sharing a webcomic. So I'm nervous. I'm not the best at sharing my work for critiques, reviews at all. Well, I appreciate you doing it here. But here's how we grow as creators, right? Yep. Well, here it is, my webcomic. I've been working on this for a very long time. I started drawing. This is an American page layout. Then I had someone help me convert it to webtoons, vertical comic layout. It's all digital watercolor. That's cool. I can relate to that. It's about Crystal, a young woman raised as an alchemist who sets out for a funeral, instead discovers that she is, in fact, a mage. She quickly finds herself entangled in conspiracy and secrets between two schools of magic and science and alchemy and spirituality of magehood. Original comic layout is here, and then here's the webtoons. Interesting. Let's just go right into episode 5. That way we can all be confused together. Thank you, Ezra. You don't have to help me like this. Shh, girl. Do you know how boring it is around here lately? It's probably the worst voices ever. Thank you, Ezra. You didn't have to help me like this. Shh, girl. Do you know how boring it is around here lately? I'm going to get so in trouble. Ever since the court mages claimed rights to the cradle, work has been the worst. This is the most fun I've had in a while. Listen, Imri means well, but don't let him boss you around out there. Don't take any crap from those capital mages either. Boom. Last call to board, folks. You take care of yourself out there. Maybe we'll see you around the capital sometime. Look at this thing. You must be quite a doctor to afford something like this. Ha 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 ha! I've never been on a fog cart before. It's so different than I imagined. Oh, thank goodness. Really? That's quite the first. Shall we toast the occasion? Please don't. So where are we going exactly? I imagine we'll follow the riverway as far as we can, then cut north to the next district. Is this a guy? I don't know. I better stop reading this. I'm making a fool out of myself. I think the art is really nice. I like the coloring. I like it. Some of my only critiques is I don't know who's talking really. Is probably partially because I've just broke right into the middle of the comic, so I'm not familiar with the characters and how the comic is going. But I'm really impressed. I think it's a beautiful job, beautiful comic. I think it's really well done. I'd say you have my permission to keep going. Not like you want my permission. Wow, there's a bunch of people working on it. Awesome. Well, it's really good art. Good job all around. I apologize for butchering it with my crappy voice. What do we got here? Package 17 has posted something. Coconut Grove Art Festival 2019 art vlog number 2. Wow, that's a big place. Very nice. Selling some paintings. I hope it went well. I haven't been doing a lot of conventions. I haven't done any actually because I was so burnt out doing conventions. But it's such a good thing to go out there and do it and meet fans and meet people and really see the response. That's cool. And look, someone posted about my book. Going back to this one, highly recommended. Thanks, Charles. If you guys haven't seen this book, this is my book. I wrote it in probably between 2010 and 13 is when I wrote it. It was all about my experience publishing and making webcomics and learning how to self-publish and print, Kickstarter, and all that stuff. It was just a combination of all that. Everything I learned, people really still like it a lot. If you like the content that I put on this channel, check out Unnatural Talent. There's some parts that are a little out of date because, like, for instance, Patreon wasn't around at the time I did this. Project Wonderful was still going on, so that's how you would advertise on your webcomics. Things like webtoons didn't exist. YouTube, I wasn't hardly doing YouTube, so it's like there's a lot of things that have changed with the way to get the fan base and stuff. But as far as a lot of the heart of this book, it's still pretty solid. So thanks for posting that. Another patron. Oh, the same guy, Charles. Mindscape Stories initial panels rough sketch. I think we should have thought this through a little bit better. I really like that. It's so sloppy, but it has such a good style to it. I think I could totally embrace it. I mean, all the the little hints are there of the facial features, and it's just there's something really neat about this style. I love it, man. Keep doing this. I'm really curious how this will turn out, so keep posting it. Let's approve. Some Spider-Man fan art from the Art Jedi. I am 14 and I hope to either work in concept art or Lucasfilm, or a comic artist for Marvel, or maybe both, but I'm not at the same time. Why not? Don't stifle your dreams. So you're 14 and you drew this. That is amazing. I wonder, I want to ask, was this out of your head or did you reference something? Either is totally fine. You have to reference something to kind of learn, But if this was out of your head, that would be even more impressive. But again, like, I'm not knocking your art. It's really solid. Great job. 14 for a 14-year-old. This is great. Keep it up. Just keep working at it every day. Keep practicing, keep drawing, and you will probably have a career where you're at Lucasfilm one time, and then later on you'll be at Marvel. You'll start your own thing. You'll, make your own intellectual property. You'll do amazing things. Just keep at it. You have to be consistently hard-headed and work at the things that you love. Obviously, you love drawing. Work at these things that you love so that you can put in that time to just get better at something. It has to be one thing that you're better at than almost everybody else. And there's a little piece that you're going to find that really makes your stuff stand out. People are going to see it. People are going to want you to do that one special thing that you do on their work. So you can be really good at art across the board, but always try to find that one little thing that can make you stand out and unique, that you're better at than anyone else. Maybe I'm saying too much weirdness. I think you're just doing a great job. Just keep drawing, keep showing your stuff here too. I want to see more. I don't have a whole lot of critiques for this. Okay, I have one little one. I think this leg is a little like, it's kind of almost bent this way more. Maybe just get that muscle in there a little better. This knee kind of feels like it's going up. It feels right. It feels okay. It's just maybe it's these muscles need to be kind of a little bit more fleshed out. Like, that's what I did was horrible. Keep working at it though. You're doing great. You're on the right track. You're going to stand out if you just keep making stuff. Floran B. Really neat poses and posture. Some great stuff. These arms here are really long. They should come down to about there if you want the anatomy to be a little more correct. But that would be my suggestion. I like your drawings though. You have great poses and great, like, you can get the characters working together really well. Like, this stuff is hard to do. All this stuff, like the interacting with each other, it's hard. Really, really solid posing. I mean, everything's really simple, but it's really good. I mean, like these arms, this is all really done well. Like the posing, like everything. Like this stuff, like what? Like some of the arms are a little long, but maybe that's just the style you're doing. And what's this, like, are the feet supposed to look like hands? Which, that's fine if that's what you're going for. I just didn't know. I guess, yeah, I didn't notice it before, but yeah, the great stuff. I don't really have many complaints. Obviously, the length of the arms is because they have different kinds of bodies than humans, so that makes sense. Keep it up. I would like to see more as you progress with that, with your character concept art. If that's going to be a comic or if it's going to be something else. Part 7 of my webtoon would like some feedback on how best to improve. So they're running, and then there's a split, and then they don't know where to go. More people show up. They're like behind a glass, and then they are excited to see them. Interesting style. I'm kind of commenting more on the colors. Previous episodes can be read there on Webtoons. Episode with the star are safe for work aside from a few swears. Episode with X contain gore violence. Okay, that's great, Ayud. I think it's really interesting. I think some of the coloring is a little muddy, and I don't mean it because of I guess I just mean it because like some of these places, it's like there's a lot of darks. Well, all this, and so it's kind of like it gets muddy and you squint and it just becomes kind of a brown blob. And I think even when you go into dark situations, you can still have color, kind of like you did right here. You have color there. And then there's a lot of stuff where it looks a little on the amateur side as far as coloring goes, because of it's almost like there needs to be a decision. What color am I going to settle for? And then that mixed with like the muddiness of so many of the characters, I think it just, like, for instance, you squint and a lot of this just disappears. I mean, even all this, it's just kind of all muddy and mashed into the same colors. I guess I'm trying to figure out an easy way to give you some advice and direction. So that would be my suggestion. A confusing suggestion. My suggestion would be maybe like take this background, everything here, and push it all towards a color. Push it all towards, in Photoshop, select it, do hue saturation on it, and colorize it so that it all pushes towards maybe a blue or something like that. Just so that there's not so many colors. Like you have a lot of different kinds of colors, grays, yellows, blues, cyans, purples, with these warms as well. There's cools and then warms. And then here, you got all kinds of colors in here. And I don't know. It's just, there's no real consistency to it. And if you want to keep the characters kind of like these shades, then I think pushing the backgrounds into a different kind of tone would be helpful, just to separate them out a little bit, and also having a little bit of consistency in those background color palettes, because the first two panels are those, and then it gets to these, and then it's this. I was just having a little trouble following it. I apologize. I wish I could explain a little bit more. This might be something I would have to think about a little bit more and study it. So anyway, those are some thoughts and suggestions. I think the characters are really interesting and neat looking. So keep going, and I hope you post more stuff on here. One more. Next page. I'm working on the next page of my comic I've posted here, so good people might bestow some artistic wisdom or something on me, especially regarding the second panel. I think the second panel is just it's hard to read the big character. I'm not sure what I'm looking at, and I think that's the problem with it. This is face. It's alien enough that complicates it so that the clear reads become less clear. This guy's really easy to see, and that I know the character fell down, but it's like, even if I know kind of what I'm looking at, it's hard to make it out, and I think that's why it's giving you a hard time. I think that's why you're not liking it, not sure about it. It might just be about, you might want to change that angle or change the big character's position so it's there's a little bit more of a human qualities to the pose that people can see easier, catch really quick. And then if things like the head and stuff are unhuman looking, it won't bother people. They won't. But right now it's just kind of a glob of inhuman mass that I don't know if these are arms. I don't know if this is a head. I assume it is because I've seen the other pages. But like, what is that? Is this arms or legs? I don't know. So that'd be my suggestion. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully it's not too frustrating. Welcome everybody to another episode of Brew Crew. You too can be a part of Brew Crew if you sign up at Reddit. Bing! My idea from memory. Posted by Otto IV. Nice little painting. I like how she's all green, and then everything in here this mermaid is all magentas. It's really neat. Nice face. Nice expressions. Nice anatomy, from what I can tell. Looks really good. Neat stuff. Thanks for sharing it. And here's a patron. Welcome, patrons. Aha, yes. I forget the name. The Grave Flats by Dragonlore 1. Here we go. It's been a while since I've posted, and I wanted to share where I was with this one. I took some time off from this piece, and I've been working on other things. I took some advice from the last time I posted this, and I'm hoping it looks better. As for the story for this piece, these are the graves and her family when a plague went through the village. She survived while her parents and siblings died. She became a healer to help others so that they never have to go through what she did, and the little spirit next to her is her helper. That's great. I like that you've made the lines less blurry. I think you do want to still work on the line. It's interesting. The lines don't feel quite as professional now as they did on some of your other sketches, but your lines were blurrier. So maybe it's just the line weight that you put in. I don't know. I like this better than the blurry lines that you used before. The blurry brush, I mean. I think you're going in the right direction. Maybe with the coloring, you could like pop these roses, make them more of a saturated red. This little spirit kind of pops because she's the most saturated. If you're going to have everything kind of like a gloomier, find things to pop, maybe like hit the top of the graves with the same light source as this background or something like that. Those are my suggestions. I think it's an improvement. So thanks for showing me the progress. I'm glad you're getting back into it and not stopping for too long, because the longer you stop, the harder it is to get back into it. Spider-Man art by the Art Jedi. Look at that. You know, I think there's a cleaned up, finished version of this. We should find. That cape is so detailed. It's like zapping all my attention, because when you have like real high contrast, solid black and solid white, but then with that much back and forth variation on it, it just sucks all your attention, and you kind of don't pay attention as much then to the characters, because you know, when I squint, I can almost focus in. Man, these glasses make it so I can't squint. You almost focus in more on the cape detail than you do on the characters. The characters start fading. So my suggestion would be, maybe in the coloring phase, darken up these whites in the cape a lot so that they almost match the same as the darks. That way that contrast in the cape doesn't pull your attention so much. Let me read this real quick. Spider-Man art by a 14-year-old. Took me forever. Tell me what you think. Also, the same 14-year-old from a while ago that wants to work at Lucasfilm. 14 years old. You're doing great for 14. I just want to say you're doing really good work at 14 years old. You know, there's obviously like anatomy and things that you can tighten up, but just the fact that you're at this level shows that you are putting in the time. You love what you're doing. Keep doing this, man. Keep going. Yes, work on anatomy. Take some time to just power through some anatomy type courses and really practice it. But I mean, you're already better than I was, I think, at anatomy at where you're at. Now, I don't know if you looked at all these poses from something else or from memory, but either way, it's really good. I just got distracted. There's one part right here. This part looks terrible. Man, no. It's a great drawing though. So this part doesn't match up the quality of the rest, but that doesn't mean it's a bad piece at all. Let me find the one that I know in scanning through Brew Crew. I know there's another one where you had it colored. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. Finished coloring my inked Spider-Man piece digitally. Any feedback is always welcome. Look at that. You got some glowy reflection rim lighting on Spider-Man there from this guy's glowing arm. You're thinking about all kinds of stuff that most 14-year-olds aren't thinking about in their art. So I'm impressed, man. I'm not saying that the coloring is the strongest thing. I think the piece is good. I think the dark purples really do help push back that cape. So you kind of did what I was suggesting before I saw this. It's mainly just working out your anatomy and really learning how to use blacks, in like grouping your blacks into certain places and not having too much detail that pulls your attention from the wrong places. Now, I know that a lot of Marvel art and stuff it's rich with detail everywhere. Like the stuff I grew up on was Todd McFarlane and stuff, and it was just like super detailed. But even so, he really led your eye with the detail, and he was really smart with where he put his blacks and other weird like cross hatching and stuff. And so it didn't feel so flat with the same amount of detail, even though it was insanely detailed. So study that kind of stuff. Study how to organize your detail so you can still have the same amount of detail, but just move it into groups and chunks and figure out how the detail leads people's eyes around the pictures. And that will really help. Obviously, study anatomy. You got some kind of weird stuff going on in the legs that are not fully figured out. But some of these arms will look really good. The proportions look, pretty good. Yeah, it's just certain parts of the legs. This arm's, well, it's okay, I guess. This feels a little crammed into this area. But you're 14 years old, man. Keep it up. If I had a computer when I was 14 that could assist me in painting, I would have just been like, I would have never left the computer. I did have a computer, but it was like a Commodore 64. So I was making video games back at the time. Really, really, really bad video games. If you haven't heard of cognitive drawing, check it out. It would be a nice exercise that you could go through. Perhaps you've already done it. I offer it on Gumroad. Let me just show you. So this is my Gumroad, and I have this thing called cognitive drawing that I've been developing over the years. And you can see that it's just worksheet after worksheet breaking down muscles and anatomy. It uses repetition. It uses muscle memory. To me, this is how I put things into memory when I'm learning to draw. Like, you have to do it a certain way to really activate your brain in the right way so that you retain it, what you're practicing. I've kind of boiled it down to this. And so if you really want to like try to like memorize anatomy, I really suggest cognitive drawing. Right now it's $12, 90 pages, which is 40 lessons. And eventually I'm going to finish it. I'm just slowly working on it. I have some friends helping me finish it, and we're going to put it out as an actual workbook. Schools have been using this. It's been used in homeschools, in charter schools, as curriculums. And so I've seen really good results with this. Like the charter school teacher who used this just down the street, her jaw was dropping when she was seeing how much the students were retaining. And they only used this worksheet like once a week, and they were able to remember things from last week. And she was like, I don't know how they would be able to remember this stuff, but they are. So anyway, I think it works. To me, it's obvious that this is the way to go, because that's why I developed it, because I was like, no one's doing this. So check this out. It's only $12, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. This is by Ellie Color. Teaser comic, Lev the Cyborg Owl.
They say everyone believes in me. The problem is, do I believe in myself?
Look at that cool little character. The Cyborg Owl coming soon. He looks pretty mad. I have no idea what this is going to be, where this is going to go. Keep going, man. Send us a link when you have it somewhere where we can read it. Memorial Day. This is so, I'm sorry I'm so late. Greater love hath no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. That's a great picture. Great pose and great hands. I love that hand with the on the gun. Really well done. Well done, my friend. Bruce Krager. I think it's just the right here. For some reason, these smoke lines right here bother me. That's the only thing. Just some background smoke. Maybe if that was blurred, but the arm was in focus, it wouldn't bother me as much, because it doesn't bother me down here. And I like how the character is going into blurriness. I don't think anything's wrong. I love the character though. I love the drawing style and the character and the way you've rendered it. I think the font's a little hard to read. Maybe that black outline and then the drop shadow that's just black, and then the mixture of the font is just makes it a little tricky to read. It could be a little cleaner, a little less muddy. But I don't know if you came here for a critique. I think you're a brilliant artist, so forgive me if you don't want to critique. I think that was really good though. From Jen Eert. I haven't seen the light of day in over 20 years. Bedlam Asylum. Neat intro. I like the art. I like the kind of warped perspective on it. Fits perfect with the tone of what you're going with. This chimney is the only thing that feels off, because you can see the perspective here, and this chimney is like obviously really warped. But there's other perspective problems that you have that don't bother me, because I do like warped perspective when it's used correctly. Even that chimney up there, I don't think you have a problem with it. There's kind of a weird tangent here with the edge of the building being right on this thin little fence line. Same with here. And kind of same with this tangent here. So those are, and maybe here. So those are things you might want to just think about going forward, like to try to avoid, is those kind of tangents. When I read it, I kind of noticed it, but it didn't bother me enough. But to really plus it and to really make that, really solve all the problems. Here's another one, the building edge right here. You have a lot of building edges that line up with the edge of the fence. So if you could just move that fence just a little bit so that it doesn't do that too much, then I think you're gonna, and there's another tangent here. So just stuff like that to think about. But I love where you're going with this. I love where you're going. How'd that turn into a song? I want to see more. And the coloring. The coloring's great. I think the coloring is neat, is fun. Show me more. Show me more. Show us more. Point Dexter 07 says, first post. Hey everyone, nice to meet you all. I've been drawing for a bit and wanted to use this platform to be more sociable, a more social artist. That's an oxymoron. This is my first post and wanted some honest feedback. I think you're doing a fantastic job for your first post. I think the face and the hand here and the down here, the body and feet, everything's great. For me, the weakest link is like this hand, this arm. That's like the weakest link, I think. If you could just like figure out this arm a little better. You know, you got this arm have a lot of depth to it, but this one, I don't know. I'm not feeling it. So that'd be my only thought. I like the little texture you got in the background. It feels a little blurry, the texture though, so it kind of feels a little forced. And the vignette feels a little forced as well. It doesn't quite feel natural. If you want to go into that kind of stuff, the effects and stuff, yeah.